The Matildas have kept their World Cup dream alive, beating Canada 4-0 in Melbourne. Hayley Raso opened the scoring with a first-half double before Mary Fowler scored a third and Steph Catley scored a penalty in stoppage time. These fans erupting when the full-time whistle was blown. And Tom will have more details in sport. The Reserve Bank's being warned of a potential recession if the board decides to lift interest rates at today's meeting. More from Michael Packey in Canberra.
The RBA will hold its monthly meeting today, where it'll examine a raft of economic data as it considers its next interest rate move. The 12 hikes so far are starting to see inflation ease, but retail sales have slumped. New data shows weaker consumer spending means some businesses are also taking longer to pay their own bills. But amid the gloom, latest job numbers show more than 30,000 positions have been created. Regardless, analysts say there are still many households experiencing financial pain, and another rate hike could tip the country into recession.
Parents have been hit with fee rises of more than 15% from some daycare centres. The rise came just as the federal government increased taxpayer subsidies. According to The Australian, fees increased for 90% of the 548 parents surveyed by the Parenthood Advocacy Group. The search for 4 defence personnel missing after a helicopter crash has now moved to a recovery mission. The crew's been declared dead after their Taipan went down off the coast of Queensland on Friday night. The ADF's entire fleet of Taipans is now being grounded, while the cause of the crash is investigated. Port Adelaide's facing possible sanctions over the sickening head knock during the showdown. Both Lockie Jones and Alir have now entered the AFL's concussion protocols. The league's issued Port with a please explain over what happened after the clash. Port's football boss Chris Davies says the doctors conceded he should have handled Alir's situation differently.
On the night, they were different in the sense that Lockie was presenting straight away with a different set of symptoms than what Alir was. So Dr Fisher made the decision at that point that Lockie needed further investigation, and as you saw, went off and had the required tests from there. Alir didn't present in the same manner.
US actor and comic Paul Rubens has died after a private battle with cancer. He was best known for his portrayal of the eccentric character Pee Wee Herman. And new research shows playing a certain sport can put you at higher risk of skin cancer than the general population. Chandra Llewellyn explains.
The University of South Australia says 1 in 4 golfers have a skin cancer diagnosis, making them more than twice as likely to be at risk of the condition. Lead researcher Dr Brad Stenner has told News Corp players need to remember to be sun smart while on the green. 27% of golfers had been diagnosed, compared with just 7% of the general population. It makes up for the largest number of diagnoses in the country each year.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains. Trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with cricket. Australia has fallen 49 runs short of winning its first Ashes series in England since 2001. The tourists started the final session on day 5 at the Oval at 3 for 264, chasing a near record 384 for victory, but it wasn't to be. England tying the series at 2-all, Australia retaining the Ashes. Mitchell Starc named Australia's man of the series with 23 wickets from 7 innings.
It's been exciting. There's been ebbs and flows throughout. What more we can say. The way it finished today was probably spoke to the quality of cricket and the emotions of the whole Ashes.
Audio there thanks to 9. Well, the Matildas are in dreamland after thrashing Olympic champions Canada 4-0, topping their group at the Women's Football World Cup. Winger Hayley Raso was electric, scoring the opening 2 goals in a player of the match performance. Mary Fowler and Steph Catley also on the score sheet. Defender Claire Hunt says it was a fantastic performance at the back as well.
I think for us to keep a clean sheet against Canada is huge, particularly coming off the 3 goals against Nigeria. So for us it was a big restart and it was a big positive effort from the team, and to get 4 goals with the players that we had on the park, we're really stoked with that effort.
Yeah, great performance. The result means Canada has been knocked out of Group B, with Nigeria also progressing with the Matildas after they played out a 0-0 draw against Ireland. And Lance Franklin has been forced to call time on his incredible career after a calf injury brought an early end to his season. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Pack away the boardies and bikinis, pull out the Uggies, and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower, a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, 20. A shower or two developing on Thursday, 23. And showers easing on Friday, down to 14. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The Panda then shows a hidden side, an aggressive turn of speed. To avoid such meetings, pandas even do their handstands in the snow.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up this morning on the program, we're going to be chatting with Will Rayner, the CEO of the Royal Adelaide Horticultural Society. Tickets are going on sale for the Royal Show. It starts today. We'll talk to him about that and indeed too how the recruitment drive is going. We'll be chatting with one of the excellent clients at the Hutt Street Center, getting an insight into the sort of services they provide because, of course, today is day 2 of the 5AA Undie Drive. And the website we want you to all remember, 5AAUndiedrive.com.au is the place to go. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will.
Get into radio, they said.
I can't help but notice you look somewhat different this morning.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, okay, we know that this is an oral medium. Most of you are digesting this program with your ears. If ever there was a day to get on the 5AA Facebook live stream, this is it, thanks to Foodland Supermarkets. We have to address not so much the elephant in the room, but the panda in the room. I'm joined today by a grown man, father of one, Will Goodings, solid citizen, newsreader by night, mild-mannered broadcaster by morning, peerless analyst of matters economic, dressed as a bloody panda.
I think
for the next 3 hours.
And
he loves pandas.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, this is... you spend a career trying to build credibility.
And you can lose it in the blink of an eye.
I just keep thinking of that joke about just that one guy.
Oh, yeah,
and,
Luigi. Well, I remember him. Isn't that bloke dressed as a panda? Now, look, in Will's defence, I said to him just before the show started, mate, it's all for a good cause. And, of course, it is for a good cause. Will hasn't just sort of come in here.
I haven't lost my mind.
No.
Completely.
In some aberrant moment.
No.
Decided to start, dressing as a endangered Chinese primate? No, not a primate.
Who would know?
No, they're mammals.
Mammal.
Bears are mammals. Of course they are. Should have been listening close when David Attenborough was talking at the start. It's all, of course, for the Undie Drive.
Yes.
So you just got to keep reminding yourself of that, Will.
Exactly right.
Just trying to adjust the microphone with the paws are about 3 times the size of your normal hands.
The radio panel wasn't designed to be operated by a bear, is what's become immediately clear. The buttons are dainty, the paws are not.
How are you going to push the buttons?
With great difficulty.
You're going to push them all at the same time.
I see. Could be in for a wild ride this morning, folks.
The show might be over when we go to the first ad break.
Of course, this is all happening. We had the Challenge Bowl came out yesterday, and more than $1,000 was raised for this visual spectacle this morning. But it all is going to Hutt Street Center and Catherine House. There will be some more challenges coming out a little bit later this morning. And the other thing that's happening, of course, Lucy. We handed over the movie bowl to listener Leslie, who bid for the right to pick a movie. She'll be reviewing The Green Mile after 8 o'clock today.
Looking forward to hearing that. The good news, too, for Will today, folks, is that if he gets peckish, he's not just behind the desk. It's almost more like his own enclosure. He's got a long stick of bamboo there, or was that sugar cane? Bamboo.
You're the plant guy.
That's real bamboo.
I'm a panda.
And then we've got all these like bamboo fronds. Like little sort of green tips for Will to munch on. And I don't know if you're going to have a nap at some point. Because every time I've been to the Adelaide Zoo, Wang Wang and Feeney, they seem to enjoy it.
I like that idea.
Bit of downtime.
Yes.
Bit of a kip. Maybe during breaking at 8, I'll try to cook up a long one for you.
I will endeavour this
Catch
morning to match the output of a panda. Okay? I'm going to embody the beast and do as little as humanly possible.
Hey, two blokes whose services probably, sadly, will never be required by Wang Wang and Fooney have made a terrific donation, an absolutely fantastic donation, and they're blokes who are very close to our hearts, Will.
Yep.
Dr. Darren Roberts and Dr. Chris Sexton, who delivered Rosie.
They were both in the room delivering Rosie.
Yeah, and also Sam and Charlie. Through sheer happenstance.
We never spoke about it, did we?
We never spoke about it, because being blokes, you don't talk about stuff like that. So have you had that baby yet? No. All right, keep you posted. That'll do. Yeah, Darren and Chris.
They are superb.
They're great. They're really good blokes.
You know what the number
and they're
one
obstetricians.
They're obstetricians,
just
that's right.
Yeah, make that clear.
Yeah, we didn't find them on eBay.
I met this bloke at the Crown and Sceptre. He seemed like a good guy. And I said, while we're talking, my wife's pregnant. Are you doing anything on April the 8th?
Seemed to know a bit about babies. Said he was pregnant.
No, they're real obstetricians.
They're real obstetricians. And the number one thing I think you want when you're dealing with an obstetrician is someone who's calm.
Yeah.
And makes the whole thing seem really normal.
Yeah.
And those guys are the absolute best at it. They're awesome. They are awesome. And
so much so that when Charlie was born, we stayed at the Adelaide Oval until half-time, because that was where the miracle of Charlie's arrival began during the Adelaide-Geelong clash in 2017.
Do you think one day Rosie will be Googling her family name and me and this video will pop up?
She'll be very proud, mate.
Do you think?
She'll go, well, look, my dad might have been subjected to a life of ridicule after that, but he did it for a very good cause. You can't say that about everyone's life. No, I think she'll love it. She'll look at it and she'll go,
look. 6-year-old her will love it. What do you reckon 16-year-old her's going to think? We got lots of texts coming through on the Duttons text line this morning.
Morning, Wong Wong. Don't go home dressed like that. Rosie May will never recover. That's from Helen.
Yes.
Peter in the Broster says, Will, can you now appreciate how challenging it must be for Wang Wang and Fooney to
Don't ever want to... Peter, those carnal desires have not crossed my mind since I put this on.
That's good. Give them the only other person in the room. Kaz in Brompton says, morning all. The really should be extinct Panda emulator. The Panda, not the emulator. Fantastic intestinal fortitude to accept the challenge, Will. Turnaround is fair play for the future. Pembo, have a great one all. Thank you, Kaz. Keep them coming, folks. And as I said, Foodland livestream is the place to be this morning, because it's pretty much the funniest thing I've ever seen.
This is a serious news-based talk radio program.
Now, how are you going to push the buttons?
We're about to find out. 13 after 6, coming up next, news headlines.
The sweet symphony of the new Gen 3 supercars takes centre stage at the Bend for the OTR Super Sprint. Experience non-stop action with Touring Car Masters and the country's fastest open-wheel racing series S5000. Enjoy full family entertainment with Matt Mingay's Hot Wheels, Silver Shark's aerial stunts and the Rocking the Murray concert on Saturday at the drop of the flag. Kids 15 and under free. OTR Super Sprint, August 18 to 20. Tickets at theben.com.au.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Circare Clinical Research Alliance in Adelaide is looking for people who experience migraines and headaches for a clinical trial. Visit painmedsa.com and click research today.
When you choose Keaton, you can retire with confidence your way. Whether you're after more space or less, a change of scenery, or a new home nearby. Our retirement communities throughout SA offer many ways to enjoy your exciting next chapter. Choosing Keaton means choosing well-being in every way. It's choosing genuine connection and enjoying the confidence that comes with true quality, freedom and service. Explore our 4 South Australian retirement communities at keaton.com.au today.
I'm Ned, and I'm a geek. I'm no good at voiceovers, but amazing at fixing your tech problems. All Geeks to You techies work on any device and give great advice. For in-person or remote tech support, go to geeks2u.com.au. That's the number 2, the letter U.
Experience the magic of Europe with Bunnock Tours and Phil Hoffman Travel. Discover the dazzling jewels of Dalmatia, the rich cultural tapestries of Spain, Portugal and Morocco, or the charms of southern Italy, Sicily and Malta on a small group tour with a maximum of 20 guests, unique local experiences and flights included. See more, experience more and enjoy more with Bunnock Tours. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel or visit pht.com.au.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 after 6, 5AAundieDrive.com.au. That's the website to go to if you'd like to donate to Catherine House and Hutt Street Center all this week, as is the case of Undie Drive, though. We don't just ask you to donate. We incentivise you donating either by doing ridiculous things. I haven't actually had to do anything ridiculous yet. Or by giving you prizes. This morning, in the first hour between now and 7, we have 5 $100 Uggs to You vouchers to give away for anyone who donates $10 or more to the Undie Drive. So if you donate $10 or more, you're in the running to win a Uggs to You voucher valued at 10 times that amount.
Wow, that's
We've got
good.
5 of them to give away.
Fantastic. Well, I've Uggs to You.
5AAundieDrive.com.au.
The best part of today's show is going to be when we have some sort of sober-minded discussion about, interest rates and what the Reserve Bank's going to do next, and you forget that you're dressed as a panda, and you start talking about, look,
there's no forgetting.
There's been a slowing of the Chinese economy, and
yeah, commodities prices are going to start hitting us. Q4 special comments. Speaking of which, time to get to the news headlines. The Reserve Bank Board is meeting today to decide on its next interest rate move.
I had an inkling that might be the first story.
I feel like I should be like a character and an advertisement for a bank. Yeah, sometimes they sort of...
Well, like the State Bank's got the Magpie, hasn't it?
That's right.
Or Bank SA, as it's now known.
Economists are split on whether the official cash rate will increase for the 13th time or remain on hold. Previous rate hikes show inflation is starting to come down. Retail sales, though, have slumped despite a strong jobs market.
It's so funny being in the studio watching that sort of sober-minded stuff coming out of your mouth while you're dressed as a panda.
You know what's interesting is if rates go up, the justification from the RBA is going to be something that a lot of people are going to struggle to digest, and it's almost going to be entirely centred around not enough people have lost their job.
Yeah. Well, and this was the comments that were made by one of the other Reserve Bank board members a month ago. Sparked a lot of quite unusual denunciations from Labor politicians saying, this is disgusting. Welcome to neoliberal economics.
The RBA is the talking Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah,
they don't do human-to-human interaction.
Well, they should stop trying.
They should stop trying. Parents have been hit with fee rises of more than 15% from some daycare centres. The rise comes just as the federal government increased taxpayer subsidies. According to the Australian the Australian newspaper, fees increased for 90% of the 548 parents surveyed by the Parenthood Advocacy Group.
It's probably just as cheap to put your kid in the Hilton overnight.
It's getting that way.
Yeah, seriously. You can find a cheaper hotel. I mean, the services aren't as good. Well, I suppose I can get club sandwiches.
Nicer, yeah. That's right. You've got the minibar. Kids love the minibar.
Yeah, that's right. Unlimited Nickelodeon on the TV.
Nickelodeon will be in use. Nickelodeon is free to air in Australia now as of today. I don't think a lot of people realise this. We'll talk about it a little bit later after 7 o'clock.
Nick Jr.
One of Channel 10's digital channels is officially now Nickelodeon.
Wow.
It's switched over for the whole country today. It's time for another annual event on the local calendar, day one of the South Australian Living Artists Festival. I might walk down. SALA is the world's largest open access visual arts festival with almost 700 exhibitions over the next 4 weeks.
You might get a government grant, Will.
Well, SALA, call it 701 exhibitions. I'm on my way. More movers are flocking to the regions to find a happier, cheaper and better quality of life. Regional Australia Institute data for the June quarter shows migration flows to the bush are up more than 16% on average compared with 2018 and 2019. Chief Economist Dr. Kim Houghton says there are a number of things fueling the shift.
There's a lot of job opportunities in regions at the moment. We've got about 87,000 job vacancies. Housing's tight, but still the housing price is still about half what it is in the capital cities. And I think, Sydney has become the major donor of residents to other parts of Australia in the last few years, and it's a very significant supplier of people.
I'm intrigued by this story. Australia has been given a temporary reprieve from one of our greatest natural wonders being listed as in danger. UNESCO have recommended delaying a decision on the Great Barrier Reef's World Heritage status. Its draft report says the government had taken positive steps to protect the reef over the past 12 months, but still faces threats from climate change and pollution. I remember we spoke about this story when it was first mooted that it might be considered endangered, which would mean a lot for how people interact with the reef.
Yeah.
It would limit it.
It would turn it into much less of a tourist attraction. You wouldn't have unfettered access to it.
Absolutely. Now, all the environmental data is the reef is as healthy as it's been in decades. The UNESCO seems to be wielding this power like a threat, because they've suggested the reason that it has changed is because the government have more green-friendly climate policies.
Yeah, well, it's not actually linked to the performance of the reef at all.
Well,
it seems like, are we doing enough to encourage people to buy electric cars?
Well, that's right.
That?
Australia single-handedly isn't going to decide the fate of the reef.
What I don't understand, though, is if they're going to hold the sort of whip hand over us about, how we can market and promote the reef to international tourists, something to be celebrated, or rather shocking indictment of our environmental performance. Are they going to do that to major sort of natural wonders in India and China and Pakistan?
If you had to bet.
Brazil?
What would you say?
Well, you very much doubt it.
Yeah.
With the sort of composition of the UN and the countries that often hold an inordinately high level of influence based on, quite a happy determination to ignore their own track record. But it just seems, it seems a bit weird. And it seems quite arbitrary too, that the only thing that's really changed is that Labor's in power.
Yep, they're saying the right things.
Yeah.
The weather today, 11.1 degrees outside at the moment.
Be a bit warmer than that in there, though, I imagine,
I
mate.
reckon it's getting warmer as we speak. Just looking at the clock. It's only been 22 minutes. My goodness.
The really scary thing is it's only Tuesday. There's 3 more days to go, and I'm wondering what type of humiliation's in store for me, because the benchmark's been set pretty high.
It better be good. Top of 20 tomorrow, which is tomorrow's going to be beautiful. 20 and sunny. Thursday, 23 showers developing up to 7 mils of rain. 14 on Friday. Starts getting cool for the weekend, up to 6 mils of rain, potentially on Friday. Saturday, 14. Sunday, 15.
Looking forward to Tom coming in shortly to join us with sport. Tell you what, it was a yin-yang night for the people of Australia last night. I tell you what, when I went to bed, the cricket, it was looking like a dream was about to come true. Well, the reverse happened in the blink of an eye, but at the other end of the spectrum of joy v misery, the Matildas,
they were awesome.
Did not see that coming at all. Basically turned it on with zero expectations after the way Canada had been playing and the way we'd been playing, but it was a brilliant night.
We've got 5 $100 Uggs to You vouchers to give away before 7 o'clock. So there's another 38 minutes worth of Uggs to You goodness this morning. Everyone who donates $10 or more is in the running to win those. So you got a chance. You're donating to a good cause. Cost you $10, and in the process, you might win a prize worth 10 times that money.
Stack of messages coming through on the Duttons text line. Good morning, David, and good morning, Panda, from Gil. Michelle simply writes, "Oh, Will, that's hilarious." Jenny says, "Classic Will." I like that, classic Will, as if to suggest he's always doing
this kind of stuff.
And finally he's decided to start doing it at work. Andrew says, maybe Will can show Pandas what to do. No, thank you. As I said earlier, Andrew, I'm in the room with him. And
I'm
Jenny,
only one ahead of him.
Someone disturbingly says, "Will, you look cute as a panda." That's one of those sentences you've got to be careful how you read it out. I think it's more like, "Hey, Will, you look cute as a panda."
What's the bad version?
Not like, "Will, you look cute as a panda."
Oh, God, never say that again. Tom Wren's in the studio. Thanks to all those people on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook, YouTube live stream with their thoughts as well. Thanks to Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains, trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call. You always do winners and losers on a Monday, usually, Rennie. It feels like this morning's the ultimate winners and losers episode.
Doesn't it? What a night. I mean, unbelievable. By the way, you look very, very handsome.
Thank you, Rennie.
Wang Wang and Fernie have got nothing on you at the moment. Well, you look sensational. Yeah, what a night. I mean, it was mixed results, wasn't it, in so many ways for the Matildas getting up. That was extraordinary, the way they were able to go. And what a blessing for Tony Gustafsson. He had Sam Kerr and he was going to bring her on had they been 0-0 or 1-0 down.
Was he?
I reckon
good question, was he?
I reckon if they were 1-0 down with 10-15 minutes to go,
she didn't warm up.
She looked like a little old granny watching the game. She couldn't have got that blanket.
There's no way she's close to fit, and even in 7 days, but she'll be maybe 60% fit in 7 days' time. But at least
she
that
looked like
way,
an Adelaide Crows fan in the outer.
Yeah,
with a knee rug.
And at least he didn't have to make the call. He could say,
Absolutely.
well, you know what, let's not even contemplate it. So, great result.
Which is a great confidence booster for the team as well.
Outstanding. How good was Hayley Rasso? I mean, she was brilliant. And we thought that first goal was disallowed, then it wasn't. And then scored again, and then there was the other offside.
I'm glad they had that performance too, Rennie, because I reckon a lot of people that hadn't watched the Matildas before would have tuned in for the first 2 games and thought, God,
what's the fuss all
why
about?
are we bothering? What is this?
Yeah.
If you watched last night, you saw why people were excited about the Matildas.
And what it means, of course, is that Canada, the highest ranked side in that group, are sent packing. The number 7.
They were woeful.
They were terrible.
So Nigeria and Australia go through, and it means that Australia will play either China or England.
Yeah, who play tonight at Hindmarsh Stadium.
You'd think England will beat China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's hope so.
We'll play the second ranked side.
Rennie, I don't want to lose to England twice in the space of a week.
That's a good segue through to our next topic. I mean, so disappointing. It kind of felt like one of those series, 2-2 in the end. We retain the urn, which is great, but we don't win this series. Same result as 4 years ago. But they had so many of the matches, and England could argue the same, right? But so often the Aussies seemed like they had the game at their mercy. And do you know what I think it comes down to in the end? And I think we saw it probably, best shown in this final innings. So many starts, no one converted often enough. We didn't have enough 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They need to be hundreds. At least one of them. Big hundreds, that's the difference. We lose by 50 runs. One of those guys, Trav Head 43, Steve Smith 54, Khawaja 62, Warner 62, Khawaja 70. Any of those make 100, they win.
It was actually a great run chase.
Really good.
Made, 334 on batting fourth.
I watched until lunch, and until the Smith-Head partnership, I thought we were stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because they lost like 3 for 30 at the start of that session.
Yeah.
But at the end of the session, they made 3 for 105. It felt like we were just chipping away at it, almost Michael Bevan style.
Yeah, and then those two put on 95, but again, it was those quick wickets. I think they lost 5 for 20.
Yeah.
And it's losing wickets in clusters, because that's why converting starts is so important, because when you lose a wicket, you can lose 2 and 3 so quickly.
We just didn't bat well enough this whole series. And I just hope the selectors look at it through the lens that we were the second best team for the last 3 tests.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's going to happen is, given the opportunity, anyone picked is going to roll out and score 200 against the Windies this summer. And it doesn't mean a damn thing. We need to use this summer to build a side that can challenge in England, that can challenge in India for the future.
Yeah,
which is easy to say. Winning in India is almost impossible to do. But we need to think big. Like, slapping around the minnows of world cricket every summer, I find boring.
Yep. And you know what? They stuffed up the whole handling of the Dave Warner situation. There's no doubt. He made a 50 in the final innings, but they had to make the hard call early. They didn't, and I think it's cost them.
Yep, completely.
I reckon Will could make a 50 in the West Indies dressed as a panda.
With that little stick as well.
There you go.
That was a nice one.
Technique.
Overfly slip or
slipboarding.
A late cut.
Don't give me that short stuff. That's right. Good on you,
Dispatched with contempt.
Thanks, boys.
Kennel Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains, trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Will retirement living suit you? You're invited to FIVEAA's free open home events to get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could enjoy. Come along with family and friends to explore our communities, inspect our display homes, discover our social activities, and chat with our friendly team. With 4 events across Adelaide from the 5th to the 10th of August, there's sure to be one near you. Take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
Hey, you in the car? If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
It's always been my happy place. When the old arthritis set in, I thought my gardening days were over. Suffered for a while, actually. Nearly kicked myself when Carol told me about the joint replacement clinic. There's no gap to pay with health insurance and everything's included. Transport, physio, aftercare. They really look after you. Turns out I didn't need to fork out a cent to keep my trowel.
Ask your GP or visit thejointreplacementclinic.com.au.
Renewing mobility, restoring life.
As we get older, looking after our health can feel like a full-time job. If you have Commonwealth funding for aged care services, RDNS Silver Chain can provide allied healthcare, such as podiatry, physio and occupational therapy in your own home. For nearly 130 years, we've helped South Australians stay independent. So for your daily healthcare, home delivered, call 1300 364 264. RDNS Silver Chain. Health, human, home.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A possible morning shower high of 16. With the 6:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
Economists are warning households and businesses will struggle if the Reserve Bank decides to raise interest rates at its board meeting today. New data shows weaker consumer spending starting to hurt some businesses. Even though inflation's coming down, it's still double the Reserve Bank's target. Creditor Watch Chief Economist Annika Thompson says it's vital the RBA keeps rates on hold.
I think it would really send a bit of a shiver through business sentiment if we saw another rate increase tomorrow, particularly if you're reliant upon consumer spending, you're a business that's reliant upon consumer spending, you know you're in for a really troubled next 6 to 12 months.
Former Prime Minister Scott Morrison's accusing the federal government of weaponising the findings of the Royal Commission into robo-debt. He's rejected the inquiry's final report into the fiasco. The commission was scathing of his leadership, finding he allowed Cabinet to be misled about the unlawful scheme. Search crews off the coast of North Queensland are looking for crucial data from the Defence Force helicopter which crashed on Friday night. More from Josh Babbott.
All 4 men on board the MRH-90 Type N helicopter are believed to have died in the crash in the vicinity of Hamilton Island on Friday. Specialist military teams are now scouring the region for their bodies, as well as crucial data recording devices, which may help authorities understand what occurred. Officials won't buy into speculation about whether they know the aircrew had the time to issue a mayday call. They said the wreckage suggests the crash was sudden and catastrophic.
The AFL has issued Port Adelaide with a please explain over the head knock involving Lockie Jones and Alir during the showdown. Both players have now entered concussion protocols. The league will investigate why Alir didn't undergo the same testing of Jones in the wake of the head clash. The doctors conceded he should have handled Alir's situation differently, and the club agrees a mistake was made. Port Adelaide's footy boss Chris Davies says they're cooperating with the league.
And the sanction, is obviously a potential if the AFL want to go down that path, but right now all the AFL have asked for is our explanation of the issue. We'll provide that, and as I say, whatever happens from there will happen.
Today marks World Lung Cancer Day, aiming to increase awareness of the disease and encourage people to seek help early. Smokers and those with breathing issues are being targeted. Kerry Stratham from the Australian Cancer Research Foundation says time is critical.
But about 2/3 of patients actually present with advanced disease when that sort of 5-year survival is less than 4%.
Legendary singer-songwriter Paul McCartney will soon head down under. The former Beatles bringing his Got Back tour to Australia for 6 shows between October and November. He'll kick off the tour in Adelaide with an intimate arena show at the Entertainment Centre. Entertainment reporter Peter Ford says he's a huge star.
Quite extraordinary, and these marathon type shows that he puts on as well, he has this catalogue of extraordinary music. The history that is there is so rich, and he's one of those old school performers who basically says, I'm going to do everything you want me to do, and I don't want to leave anything out.
And SALA, the South Australian Living Artists Festival, kicks off today. It'll run for the entire month with almost 11,000 artists participating. And you'll find hundreds of exhibitions all over the place, from galleries and cafes to hairdressers and laneways. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains. Trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia has lifted the urn following a bittersweet end to a thrilling Ashes series. England levelled the series at 2-2 with a 49-run win on day 5 of the 5th Ashes test at the Oval. The Aussies looked a chance to win its first Ashes series in England since 2001, starting the final session at 3 for 264, but lost the next 4 wickets for just 11 runs. Captain Pat Cummins says he's feeling mixed emotions.
I think we can be hugely proud of retaining the Ushers. It's no easy feat against a really high-quality English side in their own conditions, but of course, we wanted to come over here and won. It's a similar group to 2019, and it just felt like we're just that little bit short from the goals.
Well, the Matildas have come out on top of Group B at the FIFA Women's World Cup, thrashing Olympic champions Canada 4-0. Goals from Hayley Rasso and Mary Fowler put the Aussies ahead after 90 minutes before Steph Catley put the icing on the cake with a penalty in stoppage time. It's the Matildas' largest World Cup win. Coach Tony Gustafsson thrilled by his side's performance.
And all the talks about Sam and not available and all the noise outside and the way the us went out there, folks play the game, stay true to who they are, the pressing game, the attacking game. We beat Canada Olympic champion 4-0.
Yeah, great result audio thanks to Optus Sport. And as we heard a little earlier, Port Adelaide's facing a heavy sanction for the failure to immediately put Aaliyah into concussion protocols. Both Aaliyah and Lockie Jones will miss this Saturday night's match against Geelong. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Pack away the bikinis and boardies, pull out the woolies, and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower, high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, up to 20. A shower or two developing on Thursday, 23. And showers easing on Friday, down to 14. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes to 7. Delighted to announce a bit of money rolling into the 5AA Undie Drive kitty. Big thank you to Natasha, who's dropped in $150 already this morning.
On your Natasha
White. Kate Burton's put in $10. Kate says, love Will dressed as a panda.
Thank
you, Kate.
Who doesn't?
Will dress up for cash. Linda Mullen says, in honour of my wonderful mum, Doreen Jessie, passed away at 97 a year ago. Always loving, generous, thoughtful, and loving Linda Mullen. She's chopped in $50. Thank you, Linda.
On your Linda.
Francois has put in 10. Francois, my apologies. Someone anonymously has put in $10. And Tim has put in $50. And Tim says, I'll put in another 50 if we can get Lucy to sing some of the national anthem in French, please. Well, there's a challenge. Unsolicited challenge bowl challenge.
I like it.
I think Lucy's just instantly putting the executive producer red line through it.
Oh, I don't know. I think we can explore that one later. $50.
There's a Tim that's pretty close to Luce.
It's not the Tim, is it?
It
is the Tim.
Which suggests to me that Tim may have heard the old anthem sung in French before.
What do you call it? How do you say it?
La Marseillaise?
La Marseillaise.
Marseillaise, that's the one.
La Marseillaise.
Well, that would be excellent. I'd love to see Tim chop in another $50.
They got that song off the Brisbane Lions.
That's the history of it.
Yeah.
The 5AA Undie Drive, 5AAUndieDrive.com.au. That is the place to go if you would like to donate. And remember, everyone who donates more than $10 or $10 or more up until 7 o'clock in the running to win one of 5 $100 Uggs to You vouchers. Wonderful supporters of both the Undie Drive and everything we do charity-wise at 5AA. Uggs to You there at the corner of Grange and Frederick Road, right near me. They do a
cracking
superb
Ugg
job.
boots. They're the Ugg boots that got you into the world of the Ugg. Well, I bought you a pair of Ugg boots because my kids used to go to primary school just around the corner there, so I drove past Uggs to You every day when they were down at Grange Primary, my older kids. Wonderful shop, wonderful South Australian business, all made here, and Ugg boots are built to last.
Let's have a look around some of the other stories going on around the country at the moment, including the former Prime Minister Scott Morrison returning from holiday and in Parliament rejecting outright the findings of the robo-debt inquiry.
Following my departure from office to discredit me and my service to our country, this campaign of political lynching has once again included the weaponisation of a quasi-legal process to launder the government's political vindictiveness.
What's ScoMo still doing in Parliament?
Oh, that's exactly what I thought.
What, finessing his legacy, or... Yeah, I'm not trying to dance on the guy's political grave. He got trounced at the election last year, but, you know, he's not coming back as leader. He's not coming back as a minister. And what was he doing overseas? The latest I heard is he's writing a book about the role of faith in public life, as befits his conservatively Christian views. He's allowed to do that. Good luck to him. But I sort of do wonder whether he's almost using his current role and the salary, the largesse it requires, the fact that there's very little scrutiny over things like, travel that he takes and what have you. I'm not saying he's doing it in a corrupt way. The system affords you that privilege. But it's just not a good look, is it? And it's funny whinging about royal commissions being weaponised. I mean, both sides.
What happens?
It's probably not much of a defence, but it's not like Labor using the Robodebt Royal Commission to make a political point is that different from some of the stuff that the Libs did with Royal Commissions.
And clearly Scott Morrison's learnt nothing from Malcolm Turnbull, who's really paved the way, he and Kevin Rudd, for people who leave Parliament, and then you can say whatever the hell you want and relitigate your entire Prime Ministership if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say whatever.
Rewrite history.
Exactly.
They should all take a leaf out of Julia Gillard's book.
She's the gold standard.
Keep your head down.
Disappear.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
And if she wanted to settle scores, she could really start swinging. I mean, mainly against Kevin Rudd.
Yeah. I'd read that.
It'd be a great read.
It certainly would. 19 to 7. What do you think? Which state do you think the crime capital of Australia is?
Well, based on the last 2 weeks, I'd say New South Wales and daylight.
Well, it's not.
Queenslanders are the most likely in the country to have their home broken into or car stolen, according to new data. The findings from the Bureau of Statistics found almost 200,000 people in the state were victims of crime last year, the highest level nationwide. Car thefts also rose by 25%, with Queensland home to double the amount of victims as New South Wales. The figures come as the Palaszczuk government prepares to face 2 weeks of questioning at annual budget estimates, where the crime crisis is expected to dominate.
North Queensland especially bad.
I was going to say, it makes sense when you think about it, because Queensland has got so many big regional towns, and the headlines out of places like Townsville over the last 6 months have been all about youth crime, street crime, nuisance crime, all the sort of stuff that makes life genuinely unpleasant for law-abiding people.
200,000 people being a victim of crime in the last year is a staggering number of people.
Yeah, I just instinctively said New South Wales because, crikey, every time you turn on the news lately, there's someone dead in their driveway in Western Sydney.
Oh, well, spectacular and gun-related crime.
But I think this is a classic case of, the perpetrators were all known to each other. I mean, there's that lawyer who got shot in the stomach.
Well, there's a fears of gangland violence flaring up in Melbourne again yesterday because someone's mausoleum was desecrated. The sister of a gangland figure who's currently serving 32 years in jail.
Underbelly.
These people, it's a never-ending cycle of violence, isn't it?
Yeah, hell of a way to make a living, isn't it?
5undie.com.au is the place to go to, I can tell you. It is getting hot in this suit. Proudly supported by Duncan Bashir Hannon. I might be speaking to them at 9:05 this morning.
I've got a workplace-related complaint I'd like to pursue. My boss has made me dress as a panda for 3 hours.
Exactly.
And streamed it online.
I got heat stroke in Adelaide on the 1st of August.
You say it like that, it sounds almost sinister.
It does, doesn't it? Supporting South Aussies and local charities for over 50 years. Visit DBH Lawyers at dbh.com.au. We're going to check traffic, come back with police, weather, and then, how about this is a sign of the year going by very quickly. Royal Show tickets go on sale today.
Thanks, Will. Roads are damp this morning, so take it easy on the drive in and look out for a breakdown at Crafers West. That's on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Cuddly Creek, a rock slide slowing things up. Gorge Road near Torrens Hill Road speeds it down to 50. That's affecting both directions this morning. And got a lane out of action at Richmond Road near Barnes Avenue. Cameras, Beovich Road, Ingle Farm and Addison Road at Pennington. Never compromise the performance of the BMW with full vehicle servicing from $298 at Glenelg BMW. T's and C's apply. LMCT 8953. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
To celebrate 70 years in solar, Solarheart is giving you the chance to win a Tesla Model 3 electric vehicle worth up to $70,000. Simply buy a Solarheart solar power system, Solarheart water heater, heat pump or home battery and enter for your chance to win. Get smart. Get Solarheart. Terms and conditions apply. Visit solarheart.com.au for details. Open to AU residents 18+. Ends 30th of September 2023. SA permit T23/871.
This week at Foodland, selected Arnott's Tim Tams, 165 to 200 grams. A half-price Bicky bargain, just $2.25 till August 1st while stocks last.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
what is Louver House? They're not only the sponsor of Charlie Dixon's new Wednesday night motoring show, Driving with Dixon, right here on 5AA, but they're the market leader in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
That's right, you'll keep the rain out with automatic sensors, and with the flick of a switch can let the light in so you can entertain outdoors all year round. Louver House is an SA family-owned and operated business, so everything is made right here in SA.
Best of all, with their leading technology, nothing is too hard for Louver House. They're also happy to come to your home and provide you with a free, no-obligation design, measure and quote. Get your outdoor area ready for summer and see the light with Louver House. Go to louverhouse.com.au for more.
Are you suffering from debilitating chronic migraines? Circare Clinical Research Alliance in Adelaide is looking for people who experience 15 to 26 migraines and headaches per month to participate in an experimental medical device clinical trial. The Shiratronics Migraine Therapy System is designed to reduce the number and pain intensity of migraines. There are no costs associated and travel expenses will be reimbursed. To participate or find out more, call PainMed SA or visit painmedsa.com and click Research today.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
14 to 7, time to talk about the weather. Jenny Horvat on duty at the Bureau this morning. Good morning to you, Jenny.
Good morning, guys.
How's Tuesday looking?
Yeah, a little bit of a gloomy, drizzly start to the day, but it should start to improve as we head into the later part of the day. A little bit of drizzle around this morning. Currently, mostly pushing up around the sort of the northern suburbs through there, but there is still a little bit further south. That should improve as the day goes on. Couldn't rule out a little bit of light shower activity hanging around during the day, mostly around the hills. But as we head into the evening, we should be drying up. We saw a minimum temperature of 11 degrees. That happened just after 6 a.m. and we are aiming for a top temperature of 16 degrees for the city, 17 for Elizabeth, 16 for Glenelg and Mount Barker, 15 for Noarlunga. So we've got our high pressure system over us today. That'll start to drift off into the Tasman Sea during the middle of the week. So we'll see those winds shifting northerly and those temperatures on the rise. So we are looking for a sunny day ahead for Wednesday, maximum temperature of around 20 degrees after a minimum of 8. Even warmer on Thursday. We're looking at around 23 degrees. We do have those winds picking up. We do have a cold front moving through, but it looks like that'll be quite late in the day. So it should be pretty dry and pretty warm with those showers developing during the evening, continuing overnight into Friday. Big contrast with the temperature there, back down to around 14 degrees. We'll see those showers easing back during the day on Friday, but couldn't rule out a little bit of light shower activity hanging around as we start the weekend, but should be drying up for Sunday. We are looking at temperatures over the weekend of around 14 or 15 degrees. It should be a dry start next week. Again, looking at around 15 degrees to start the week. Winds out on the waters today, they're pretty variable, below 10 knots.
Good on you, Jenny. Thank you for that. Jenny Horvat at the Weather Bureau.
Tell you one way to beat the cold this morning, just get dressed in a man-sized panda suit.
Oh, it's very toasty. I'll tell you
what do you reckon you're up to there? About 30 degrees already?
We need a thermometer, don't we? Right, you. Where does it go?
Now just bend over and cough. Thank you.
So to check in with SafePulse, Senior Constable Kimberly Broad's on the line. Kimberly, someone's crashed into a tree at Clarence Park this morning.
Yeah, good morning. It was just before 1:30. Police were called to the corner of Cross Road and Hill Avenue after a Toyota sedan crashed into a tree and then caught alight. But luckily, the two occupants were able to escape without injury. However, that car was completely destroyed by the fire. Police directed the driver of the car to submit to a roadside breath test, but he's allegedly refused. So a 23-year-old man from Cumberland Park, he was reported for failing to comply with the breath test and also driving without due care. He's been issued with an instant loss of licence for 12 months and will be summoned to appear in court at a later date.
Kimberly, also, very sadly, and yet again, with the road toll being what it is, a fatal car crash on Marion Road at Sturt yesterday, are they?
Yeah, this was Marion Road, just near the entrance to the Southern Expressway, about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Both drivers were taken to the Flinders Medical Centre for treatment, but sadly, the driver of one of those vehicles, the 68-year-old man from Woodcroft, he died in hospital. The second driver is a 24-year-old man from Flagstaff Hill, and he sustained serious injuries, but not considered life-threatening at this stage. We had major crash investigators attend at the scene, and they are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash. But yes, that man's death is the 71st life lost on SA roads this year, compared with 43 at the same time last year.
Jeez, unbelievable. 32 more. Amazing. Just terrible.
And just lastly, Kimberly, a man's been arrested after a stolen car was dumped at Nova Gardens last night.
Yes, about 9 o'clock last night, we spotted a stolen BMW. It was travelling along Marion Road. We pursued it for a short time, but had to terminate due to safety reasons. That BMW had been stolen during a break-in at Marion, and we searched the area, spotted it again in the back streets of Plimpton Park, and it travelled along Anzac Highway and onto Morfett Road before disappearing into Nova Gardens again. But we found the car abandoned in Montreal Avenue. However, despite an extensive search, we weren't able to locate the driver at that time, but further inquiries did lead police to a Nova Gardens home where they arrested the alleged driver. So we've got a 24-year-old man in custody. He's been charged with a number of offences, including the serious criminal trespass, illegal use, engaging in a police pursuit, and a few other traffic offences. So he's been refused bail to appear in court today.
Good stuff there, Kimberly. Thank you so much. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad from SAPOL.
It's coming up to 9 minutes to 7. Some more money coming into the kitty for the Undie Drive. And a couple of anonymous donations at $10. They're in the running to win the $5 $100 Uggs to You vouchers we've got to give away before 7 o'clock this morning. And Belinda Perusas has put in $50 into the kitty. Big thanks to you, Belinda. It's as simple as going to 5AA-undiedrive.com.au. It's a notable day today. Not only is it the 1st of August, but it's the first day you can buy tickets for the Royal Show. Will Rayner, the CEO of the Royal Agricultural and Horticultural Society, joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Will, good morning to you. Are tickets on sale as of this moment, or is it sort of a 9 o'clock sort of deal?
If you go on the website, I think it is from 9 o'clock, but it's imminent. So it's a really exciting day. Everyone's getting ready for another great show.
I've got to say, Will, it feels like it's crept up on us this year. Was it fully fledged last year, the show? I'm struggling to recall, because we lost 2 of them, didn't we, through COVID?
Yeah, we lost 2, but last year was back to a normal show, so
That's
to
right.
speak. And we had nearly 500,000 people came back. It was a great show, and I think we called it the reunion show, and it really felt like that. Everyone just loved coming back to those memories that you've always had as kids, and the attractions that we all know and love, plus the new ones. So it was a great reunion, and this year we're going to build on that and be bigger and better than ever.
So what's the start date this year, and how many days does it run for? Because I know that's been adjusted a few times in recent times.
Yeah, so it starts on Saturday the 2nd of September, and it's a 9-day show. So we've got those 2 weekends.
Great.
And we know those weekends are really, really popular. So the message today is to get in and buy your tickets early online, because those weekend and nighttime sessions, they can sell out. And we got very, very close to selling out on a couple of the days last year. So get in early and get your tickets and plan your show.
What counts as a sellout? How many tickets would you have to sell for a day to be sold out?
It's not as straightforward as a game of footy as you can imagine, because people come and go during a day. But sort of around that 75,000 people.
Wow.
And one day last year we had sort of nearly 80,000 over the day. So it's a really massive event.
So how many would you, if you were to hazard a guess, would you imagine you'll sell over the course of the entire 9 days?
Look, it'll be up to that 500,000. We think about 1 in every 3 South Australians come to the show, which is makes it the biggest show in Australia on a per capita basis quite easily. The Sydney show is the biggest in absolute numbers, but we do things really well here in South Australia, and the support for the show is just another one of those.
So, Will, we had a chat with you only a week ago about the call out that you made for people to fill the many jobs that are available at the Royal Show. How is the recruitment drive going?
Going really well. Our caterers ended up having nearly 300 applicants for the catering roles, and so they're probably pretty full in what they need. Cleaners, they had almost 1,000 applications, but you can imagine with those sorts of numbers, their requirements are quite large. So you can still get on the website and apply for those cleaning roles, particularly during the weekdays. I think they've filled some of those higher profile weekend and night shifts that those really attractive rates were publicised.
Do you have any jobs going for grown men who like dressing as panda bears?
Who are you thinking
something
about?
for everything there, Pembo, yeah.
I know this guy, he's really into it. I'll pass on your details. Hey, are there any surprises lined up for the show this year, Will, or are you still sort of tight-lipped in a marketing sense about what any of the sort of headline moments are going to be?
Well, I dropped the hint of a global superstar, Pembo, and it's Bluey. I can confirm that Bluey is coming.
Wow.
Wow. Who I know that a lot of the young families out there and the younger audience, you know, he is a global superstar. I think that cricket episode that Bluey had recently was downloaded something like 400 million times in the United States. So a really big headline act. But we've got free attractions and events every day, as you know. So get on the website and plan your visit, because there is well over 100 free things to do once you get in the show. It provides fantastic value for money, which is really important in this day and age. If you plan and take advantage of all those really free attractions that you can do during the show. And of course, it finishes every night with the fireworks and the entertainment on the central arena.
No, we all love the show. It's a beloved part of life as a South Australian. Good on you, Will. Will Rayner, the CEO of the Royal Agricultural and Horticultural Society. So only 32 days until the show, and since it is August 1 and we're counting down, it's 61 days to the AFL Grand Final and 96 days until the Christmas pageant.
It all seems very close and near and new.
Yeah.
Speaking of international superstars coming to Adelaide, Paul McCartney is starting his Australian tour here in Adelaide at the Entertainment Centre, doing a small gig, about 8,000 people. They're going to be the hottest tickets.
Oh, it's going to be getting those tickets is going to be really hard. I would love to hear from our listeners. 8223 0000. Have you ever seen McCartney solo? We know. I mean, a lot of our listeners, stacks of our listeners, were there at the Centennial Hall for the Beatles show.
He hasn't been here for 30 years.
30 years was his last show. So, trying to think what he would have been doing there musically.
This would have been him, I think. Wouldn't it be Wings, would it? Would have been.
Yeah, not Wings.
Would have been post Wings.
Yeah. What a back catalogue of songs, though.
Is he your favourite Beatle? He'd be a lot of people.
I can't split them. Yeah. I actually reckon the guy who wrote the best Beatles songs was George Harrison.
Yeah.
But he didn't write too many of them. But I don't know. It's like saying, who do you like best, Mick or Keith? I can't disentangle them.
A lot of Beatles fans have really strong views on it. I'd be interested to know from our listeners if you've got is there a favourite Beatle you've got amongst our Beatle diehard listeners? Because I always thought my father is an absolute Beatles obsessive. Since I was a kid, he just loves the Beatles. He loved John Lennon. It always has as the sort of the creative genius.
Yeah.
So
and
I've
the
always,
sort of dark force within the Beatles.
That's right. And the founding, he was a bit the founding force, but. I found watching Get Back so compelling, the Peter Jackson documentary.
Yeah.
The way at that point in time, the rest of the band wasn't that engaged anymore, but McCartney still had this relentless drive to create new stuff and make new music. That I found such an insight into how he worked in his character that it made me really admire him.
Yeah.
The rest of them were kind of like, we're a bit at the end of this, and it was clear. It's not surprising he's 81 now, still making music.
Yeah.
As I think in the paper they write the great line this morning that, he was at one point in time writing about what he'd be doing when he's 64.
There's a funny comment too where he blames Bruce Springsteen for the fact that the expectations are now that you've got to play for at least 3 hours, given that Springsteen plays for 4. But, the people who were there at Centennial Hall might want a refund, given that concert went for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's all they used to do.
Crazy.
Lucy's in the studio. Morning, Luce.
Good morning. Later on the show, we are speaking with Frontier Touring, who are bringing this show to Australia. We'll ask them why they picked Adelaide to kickstart the tour. The CEO
and why a small venue?
CEO of Frontier will be joining us later this morning. But please, call in 8223 0000. Let's get a snap poll happening. Who's your favourite Beatle?
Yeah, all right.
Let's take some votes.
Let's do it.
And we'll tally it up. Let's give it a half an hour. By 7:30, who's your favourite Beatle?
Yeah. All right. 8223 0000. Dutton's text line with the brand new Volkswagen Tiguan All-Space, the 7-seater that's perfect for weekends away camping trips and the crazy Saturday sports rush, or you can cast your vote. I'm getting heat distress on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream.
You need to get a bit more bamboo in here, mate. Your blood sugar levels are dwindling.
All right, I'm going to do that. right now.
Probably the fact that you've got a large stomach. It takes a long time to break down the sugars.
Thank you for noticing.
No, I didn't mean you're fat. I just meant what's the word? Ruminant? I don't know.
Thank you.
As we get older, we often need a little help going about our days. And RDNS Silver Chain is dedicated to helping you with all those little things. This afternoon, catch Jade Robran with RDNS Silver Chain in the Interactive Lounge to learn how their unique in-home aged care services make the world of difference. With a little support, you can live at home as long as you choose. So call in and join RDNS Silver Chain in the FIVEAA Interactive Lounge this afternoon with Jade Robran. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible morning shower, a high of 16. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
A man's died in hospital after a two-car crash at Sturt yesterday. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says it happened on Marion Road near the entrance to the Southern Expressway.
68-year-old man from Woodcroft. He died in hospital. The second driver is a 24-year-old man from Flagstaff Hill, and he sustained serious injuries but not considered life-threatening at this stage. We had major crash investigators attend at the scene, and they are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash.
The death toll is the 71st life lost on our roads, compared to 43 at this time a year ago. 2 bags of blood are being flown here from the UK, and another donor's been found in Victoria as the search for rare blood donors for sick Adelaide mum Amira intensifies. Lifeblood has opened up extra appointments, and Director of Donor Relations Steve Aldridge says any A or O blood type could be a potential match.
Amira is going to need more than 20 bags of blood prior to, during and after her heart surgery, which means that around 15 Australian donors are needed.
The Defence Force is promising to undertake a thorough investigation into the cause of a fatal helicopter crash off the Queensland coast. 4 crew have been declared dead after their Taipan went down during training exercises. There's now a push to phase out the Taipans earlier than planned after a number of other incidents. Most economists believe the Reserve Bank will keep interest rates on hold today when the board meets. Previous hikes are slowly easing inflationary pressures, but retail sales have slumped. Other indicators like unemployment show most Australians remain in a job. Creditor Watch Chief Economist Annika Thompson says households and businesses are still doing it tough.
We did have services inflation still heading up, but the things that are really driving that are rent, utilities and insurance, and all of those 3 items. Higher interest rates aren't going to affect those, or they're certainly not going to bring them down. They actually could do the opposite.
A leading concussion researcher is calling for better management of head collisions in the wake of an incident involving Port Adelaide's Aliir at the weekend. The AFL's issued Port with a please explain after Aliir was put back on the ground after a heavy knock with Lockie Jones. Dr Adrian Cohen says more needs to be done in sport to protect players.
Firstly, you're right, it's being done at the pitch side. They've got 3 minutes with all the pressure of a world audience looking at them in front of a screaming crowd. You know, every other sport we have takes the player inside into the dressing rooms, allows them to cool down a little bit, administers a test in a controlled atmosphere.
Live hookworms could prove useful in combating diseases like type 2 diabetes. A world-first human trial at James Cook University recruited 40 people, all with early warning signs of future metabolic diseases. They were given different quantities of hookworms, and some were found to have lower insulin levels at the end of the trial. Dr Doris Pearce says it doesn't mean people should stop deworming.
The whole idea behind our trial was, first of all, show could it work potentially, but then probably investigate what exactly was the mechanism and could we maybe replicate this by finding certain molecules that the worm excretes that may do the trick in a more palatable way.
And Paul Rubens, the US comic who was most famous for playing the man-child eccentric Pee Wee Herman, has died. The 70-year-old succumbed after a 6-year battle with cancer. Late-night host Jimmy Kimmel led the tributes, calling Rubens a brilliant and original comedian who made kids and their parents laugh at the same time. Now 10 Turning to 5AA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains, trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia captain Pat Cummins says his side fell a little short of their goal despite being proud of his players for retaining the Ashes. England won the fifth test at the Oval by 49 runs to level the series at 2-2 and deny Australia a first series win in England since 2001. England captain Ben Stokes says his side can hold their heads high.
2-2 at the end of a series like this, I think, is a fair reflection of two teams literally going toe-to-toe. You know, Australia, World Test champions, absolute quality team. But, you know, being 2-0 down after the first two games, I don't think many teams would have been able to respond in the manner in which we did. Standing here, you know, pretty content about everything that we've achieved over the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, great series. Well, with their backs to the wall, the Matildas have delivered in the biggest possible way at the Women's World Cup. Faced with an embarrassing group stage exit on home soil, they walloped Canada 4-0 to top the group and storm into the round of 16. Winger Hayley Raso has been named player of the match after scoring the opening 2 goals and says the support from Australia has been amazing.
Yeah, ecstatic. I can't really describe the crowd. They lifted us to score in front of my family, in front of this amazing crowd. It's so, so special.
That audio there, thanks to Optus Sport. Well, as we heard earlier, Port Adelaide will be without Aaliyah and Lockie Jones for Saturday night's match against Geelong, with both players now in concussion protocols. A blow for Carlton, with gun midfielder Adam Cerra sidelined for at least the next fortnight due to a hamstring strain. Meantime, Gold Coast Mac Andrew has been named the Round 20 Rising Star nominee, making him the first player of South Sudanese heritage to be nominated. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Damp roads in a couple of spots this morning after passing showers, so drive carefully and look out for a breakdown at Crafers West. It's on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Cuddly Creek on a rock slide, Gorge Road near Torrens Hill Road, speeds at 25 there. Getting busy, South Road at Febberton. Look out for cameras, Addison Road, Pennington and Beaverich Road at Ingle Farm. Headed to Coles Express and Gravity 2, 4 and 20 traveller pies, 160-gram varieties and a Red Bull 250ml 4-pack for just $10. Selected stores only while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Pack away the boardies and bikinis, pull out the Uggies and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower, high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, 20. A shower or two developing on Thursday, 23. And showers easing on Friday, down to 14. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
I like to call it a passion. I can be sitting relaxing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. Back then, wasn't worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw. Oof. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in.
The new Kia Seltos. That's what's poppin'. And yeah, it's got options. The new Kia Seltos. The word is out.
Brand new whip, just hopped in.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The Panda then shows a hidden side, an aggressive turn of speed. To avoid such meetings, pandas even do their handstands in the snow.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 minutes after 7. I don't know if there's any sharp turns of movement happening in the studio here this morning.
An aggressive turn of speed.
Yeah, there'll be no aggressive turn of speed.
An aggressive turn of speed.
It's just absolutely swamped at the moment.
Watch now how the Panda, despite having a conjoined thumb, can still manage to operate a mixing desk.
Lots of money coming in for the 5AA undie drive at the moment. Tim Harrop says, looking good, Will. Thank you, Tim, if you're into that kind of thing. $10 in the kitty. Karen Whiteford's chopped in $20. Tessa has put in $10 as well since we've been talking. All donations of $10 or more from 6 o'clock till 7 this morning went in the running to win a $100 Uggs to You voucher. We've got 5 of them to give away, and Lucy's got the copper bowl of non-COVID from which to draw them.
Yes, I got my 5 names out. If I call your name and you've donated last hour, please give me a ring, 8223 in the booth so I can send you your voucher. First one. Linda, please call us. Second one here I've got is Kate. Thank you, Kate. Next couple here I've got Natasha, Karen, and anonymous number 3.
Anonymous number 3.
Who I believe is I get to see their at least first names in the back end document.
Don't read it out.
Anonymous number 3 is Tate.
Okay. Tate.
Oh, God. Now he's been identified.
Tate.
Well, I haven't said his last name. Tate, Natasha, Kate, Karen, and Linda. Please ring 8223 to claim your Ugg boot voucher.
Good on you, folks. Keep on.
Well,
better not be me.
We're going to extend Will's challenge. We're all having a bit too much fun this morning. So for an extra $300 in the next 20 minutes is all I'm asking.
Better be more than that.
All right, let's go $500.
$500.
Will's going to walk down Rundle Mall this morning in his Panda suit.
Excellent.
And do a meet and greet. So $500 in the next 20 minutes.
Straight after the show, 9 o'clock.
Yep, 5AA.undie.com.au. Hop to it, folks, and you'll get a real treat this morning in the mall.
Which end are you going to do? Go from Pulteney?
No, it'll be move my face.
I meant Pulteney Street or King William. Where are you starting?
Whatever's closest.
No, I didn't want to know what's the word they use in the animal kingdom? Presenting? This will be good.
Oh, dear.
This will be really good.
So $500 to the 5AA Undie Drive website, 5AAundieDrive.com.au.
You got to get on the Foodland live stream. Will's now so advanced that he's managing to operate the buttons there on the desk with a long bamboo stick.
It's the only way I can do it. The old poor mitts aren't really getting it done. The problem I'm having is
like a 1950s headmaster waving that thing around.
My head is too big for the Panda head.
Yeah.
So I can't do it up the bottom anymore. It's come.
No, you're wearing it like a sort of World War I fighter pilot.
I feel like one of those Royal Guards.
Yeah, that's right.
Buckingham Palace.
Only much less composed.
Far less composed. Let's talk music.
I've got a feeling.
This morning, Paul McCartney's first Adelaide concert in 30 years is going to take place at the Entertainment Centre. It is going to be in front of just 8,000 people. It is kicking off his Australian-wide tour. It will take place Entertainment Centre on October 18. I really enjoyed reading the quotes that the Ties have got from Paul McCartney saying he loves doing some small gigs. The rest of it's going to be a stadium tour. So he'll have huge numbers. But
he's playing like all the big stadiums in Sydney and Melbourne. But here, I think it's only going to be like 7,000 people. Maybe not even that many.
8,000 is what the
8,000,
promoters are saying officially.
Right.
It'll be in front of 8,000 people seated at the Entertainment Centre. But beyond that, I mean, it's Allianz Stadium and Marvel Stadium, Suncorp Stadium. So we're going to get the most exclusive and unique show on the tour. It'll be the first one on the tour. I mean, Paul McCartney's at a point, he could probably sell out anything he wants to.
Oh, yeah.
He's 81 years of age.
And he could probably charge what he likes, too.
Exactly.
Because there'd be cashed up people for an intimate show like that who would easily pay several $100s for a ticket. I don't think there's details yet about what the tickets are going to cost. We're going to try to find out this morning. We're going to talk to the promoters, but it's going to be a huge show.
It's going to be absolutely massive. I wonder how quickly those will sell out, those tickets. We will be speaking with the CEO of FIVEAA a little bit later this morning.
The ticket information is already there. So A reserve, which is like the best seats in the house of the general seats, $399.90, so $400. B reserve $299, C reserve $199, and the so-called cheap seats D reserve $149.
Is that? Well, I don't go to a whole lot of concerts. Is that reasonable, or is that?
Oh well, no. It's
premium?
standard for a really high end act.
Okay.
You know, it's sort of getting towards Taylor Swift territory. Still cheaper actually than Taylor Swift, because a lot of the A seats for her concert at the MCG were $600. Then, if you really want to lash out and you've got, you know, the means to do so, there's something called the Premium Hot Sound package. Those tickets are $2,375.
What do you get for that?
Well, often you get a chance to meet them, or you're in a little roped-off area where they walk in and out to the stage. You get, like, often a book.
I wonder if there are any listeners that have ever met Paul McCartney before.
I reckon we might have some.
If you've ever met Paul McCartney, give us a call, 8223 You can text us too on the Duttons text line. We did get a text a moment ago from Tony, who says, letting you guys know there's been a multi-car collision just on the entrance from Jerris Road onto the Southern Expressway. Thank you for that, Tony. Appreciate it. Today is the 1st of August. It is a Tuesday. It is Rates Day in Australia. It's the day that for the last 12 months we've basically all clenched and thought of happier times. Yes, your teeth. The Reserve Bank paused interest rates at 4.1% in the July Reserve Bank meeting after the 11 hikes we've had since May last year. This one is the proverbial too close to call, and I'll give you some insight. Reuters did a poll of all economists and the major banks. 36 economists they surveyed. 20 of them expected the cash rate to go up by 25 basis points to 4.35%. 16 said no change. So 16 versus 20. The big banks were 2-2, expecting whether there would be a rate rise or not today. The markets are saying there won't be
2-2, the fifth one was rained out. Sorry, I'm thinking about the cricket.
We don't do cricket anymore.
How would any of them know? Like, unless you got some sort of obviously they're just basing it on the numbers.
Yeah, they're based on CPI and unemployment.
I don't reckon they'll put. It just doesn't feel like they'll put them up.
The argument, I in a normal course of events, I would agree. The only argument is a non-economic one, and that is, do they want to get the dirty laundry out the way for Philip Lowe's final 2 budget Reserve Bank meetings, to give Michelle Bullock then a clear run at this, to do the good news stuff for a little while?
But doesn't that run contrary to their whole ethos? I mean, the whole point of being Reserve Bank governor
yes, it does.
You don't have good cop, bad cop. You're just sitting there going, all right, what's inflation at?
And I would like to think they operate that way, but whenever there are human beings involved, they make human decisions.
So you reckon he might be quietly saying to her in the tea room, don't worry, I'm the bad guy already. I'll take another hit for the team, and then my work here is finished.
Yeah, that's right. I've got nothing to lose. Rosalie's called in. Morning, Rosalie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, Rosalie.
Okay, so I've kissed Paul McCartney.
You've kissed him? What?
Yes.
Wow.
I know I sound deluded,
Rosalie,
but I really have.
More information, please.
Well, back in when the Wings came to Adelaide at the Apollo Stadium, I think it was about 74 or 75, I think. I was actually a St John's ambulance volunteer, and we were called to go to the Apollo Stadium. It was the West Torrens division, and on duty, sort of, going around the place, and half time, I think, interval, a group of us went around to the dressing room, and we found some little autograph booklet things just to get the autographs. Paul and Linda came out of the dressing room, and they signed all of our autograph booklets. And I just, as whatever I was, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I said, "Oh, can I have a kiss?" And he looked at me and he says, "I'll think about it." So he signed some more autographs, and I said, "You still thinking about it?" And he said, "Yeah, building myself up to it." And then he looked at Linda, and I said, "Well, come on, what's happening here?" And he looked at Linda and he says, "Shall I?" And she said, "Yes." And I got a peck on the lips.
So you got Linda signed off on the kiss.
Was the 70s, I guess.
And at the end of the concert, Linda usually wore the police hat or something like that, and I gave her my St John's hat to wear. And
what a great experience!
Yeah, so she wore that, and I still, even though when I left St John's, I kept the hat, so I've still got the hat.
I like your spunk, Rosalie. Now, when you're off being performing St John's duties at other major events. Do you offer many other kisses around?
No, that was enough.
Wow.
That was worth a lifetime of experience. Yeah.
Well, I think given your history, it'd be great if you could get along to the entertainment centre. That'd be.
Well, he might see me at 67, then realise what he missed out on.
Rosalie, you're getting a 5AA breakfast mug coming your way. That is a superb story.
That's fantastic.
We wondered whether we might have a listener who's met Paul McCartney. Didn't expect anyone to plant one on Paul McCartney.
I know.
Sanctioned by Linda, no less.
Exactly.
What an extraordinary story. 8223 is the number. You can text us on the Dutton's text line as well this morning. We were in the midst of a conversation about interest rates a moment ago. Here's Shane Oliver, the AMP chief economist.
But I have to admit, it is a very close call. And once again, economists are split on this one.
Yep, telling us what we were just talking about. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I'll tell you what is going to happen today, something we have talked about at length. It's the 1st of August, and guess what? I'm going to play this for a bad reason. That's the cost of alcohol. It goes up today. $25 tax on a slab, 2.2% hike on booze is coming into effect today. Pubs are saying they're going to pass it directly on to drinkers. Don't blame them, one iota. It's a ludicrous tax that gets indexed with inflation, so cost of living hitting. Well, guess what? Government has no sympathy for you wanting to have a quiet drink or catch up with friends. They don't care because it's a good revenue stream for them.
They've admitted as much.
Exactly right. They've admitted as much. So that hit takes place today. So don't blame your pub if you turn up for a drink today and it costs more. It's not their fault. It's the stupid government.
Yep.
21 minutes after 7. Let's check traffic and come back with Brian, who's a client at the Hutt Street Center, in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. A couple of damp spots after overnight showers on the drive-in, so take it easy. Look out for a breakdown at Crafers West this morning. It's on the freeway up track near the tunnels. A Cuddly Creek, a rock slide slowing things up today. Gorge Road near Torrens Hill Road speeds it down to 50. That's affecting both directions too. And look out for a lane closed at Goodwood Road near Rosa Street speeds at 40. Cameras, Hutt Street, Semaphore and Grange Road at Grange. Did you know at UltraTune you can get a manufacturer's handbook service for your car and not void your new car's statutory warranty? Call or search UltraTune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
More paramedics have been joining the ranks. The Health Minister, Chris Picton.
Having those extra ambulance crews has meant that more South Australians are now getting that ambulance on time.
Weekday mornings from 9.
I had someone tell me just on the weekend they recently had to call an ambulance. They were told if you can get in the car, take her yourself because it's going to take us 4 hours to respond.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Are you suffering from debilitating chronic migraines? Circare Clinical Research Alliance in Adelaide is looking for people who experience 15 to 26 migraines and headaches per month to participate in an experimental medical device clinical trial. The Shiratronics Migraine Therapy System is designed to reduce the number and pain intensity of migraines. There are no costs associated and travel expenses will be reimbursed. To participate or find out more, call PainMed SA or visit painmedsa.com and click Research today.
What is Louver House? Simple. Louver House turns your outdoor area into a stunning entertainment space with an opening and closing roof. With rain sensors, you'll keep winter out. And when you need to, you can let the light in, so you can be outdoors and entertain all year round. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with options like LED lighting. But you be the judge. Find out more with a free design, measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
As you get older, sometimes you need a little help in your day with things like showering, getting dressed, making meals, or even regular nursing care.
Well, did you know that for nearly 130 years, RD&S Silver Chain has helped generations of South Australians live at home for longer?
If you have Commonwealth funding for aged care services, RD&S Silver Chain can help monitor, treat and manage your health conditions or give you a little help with daily tasks.
To learn more, be listening to the 5AA Interactive Lounge this afternoon with Jade Robran. RD&S Silver Chain representatives will be on the air and taking your calls off the air.
For the care you need, home delivered, contact RD&S Silver Chain on 1300 364 264. Visit rdns.org.au/home care or catch the RD&S Silver Chain Interactive Lounge this afternoon with Jade Robran.
My new guy just gets why listening's important.
Hi, Anita.
Morning.
Ready for your hearing check?
Because our stores are run by local audiology professionals, they put your care first, which can make them rather popular. Specsavers, your care is our business.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Well, it is Undie Drive week on 5AA Breakfast, raising money for those wonderful charities, Hutt Street Center and Catherine House, with which we've been associated for many, many years. Long-time listeners to the program would be right across the wonderful and many and varied ways with which they help the less fortunate in the community here in South Australia. But what we always like to do as part of Undie Drive week is speak to some of the clients of these wonderful organisations to get an insight into their lives and circumstances and how Hutt Street has helped out. And we're joined live in the 5AA Breakfast studio this morning by Brian. Brian, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great to have you in here, Brian. So, as Will said, we've been involved with the Hutt Street Centre for many years now, and we've been in there and seen the meals that they provide and so on. How long have you been relying on their services, mate?
About the last 4 months.
I understand you were a truck driver for a long time, were you?
Yeah, truck driving in removals.
So mainly here in SA,
Yeah,
or did you travel around a bit too?
No, like it's only interstate here.
Yeah. The thing I reckon that a lot of people struggle to understand about homelessness is, and you know, they say that often you're only one paycheck away from becoming homeless. So you're working for such a long time. Do you mind me asking, what was the thing that sort of tipped you into homelessness, mate?
I'd say it's the cost of living.
Yeah.
Just the circumstance I was under. You know, I supposedly got bitten by a white tip, bone infection set in, hospitalisation. Had to move out into the country, just doing the trips back and forward to Adelaide, you know, like 200k round K trips. I'll be doing them, you know, like up to 4 or 5 a fortnight back to Adelaide.
Yeah,
It
right.
was just the cost of the car, you know, and rent, food, bills. It just doesn't add up, you know.
So you're sort of talking in the last sort of year or so,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, it's been an 11-month holiday, as they say.
Holiday, some holiday.
Yeah, you know.
Do you remember the first night you decided that you're going to sleep in the car?
Yeah.
What was the sort of the decision-making process that led up to that?
It just had to be done. You know? It's just, I've been, 20 years ago I was on the streets, you know, and Hutt Street helped us out there and got us off the streets into accommodation, and, you know, like the last 20 years I've been all right, but, yeah, it's just come to this time around again.
There's literally a police operation in the city at the moment about it being, there've been safety issues and there's been issues of violence and antisocial behaviour. It must be pretty scary at times.
At times, but I sort of keep to myself, you know. I don't like to I don't hang out with anyone there, you know. I just keep my back to the wall.
Is it a lonely life? That might be a silly question.
There are a couple of people that, you know, like, talk to you, and strangers will talk to you, offer you money, you know, to help. But,
do you ever get flack from people? Like, do you ever get people sort of judge you or anything like that?
I think that, yeah, I do in a way, yeah. You know, you'll see, you know, people turn around and double check as you're walking past that their car's locked, you know.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that, you know.
What kind of things have Hutt Street Centre helped you out with? What have they been doing?
Everything. Showering, meals, clean clothes, doctors, nurse, help desk with IDs if you need it, paperwork, Centrelink, just anything, you know. Anything you ask for, they'll try to accommodate.
Wow.
We've seen so many stories over the last few months about rent, and there was a story in the paper only a couple of days ago about a family of 5, mum and dad. They've got 5 kids, and the landlord suddenly told them your rent's going from $460 to $600 a week. In an environment like this, how difficult is it for you to think about getting back into some form of housing, Brian?
Not by myself. Like, I'm on New Start now, and, you know, that's $700 a fortnight, you know, and I've got bank loans to pay. I'm skipping every second payment. And so that leaves me, you know, roughly $300 a week, you know, to survive. And I've got to, you know, keep the car registered, and I've got car wires at the moment, you know. And, yeah, just the affordability of rent, housing, it's just not there.
Would you be in a position where you'd be able to work again, or is that something?
Yeah. The work had told me, you know, I've got a job there any time.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I've just got to get a roof over my head, you know, and then I can possibly go back to work.
Well, that's a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's just sitting here talking to you now. People have a weird idea about what homeless people are like. Sort of think there's something different about them, but
it's all walks of life.
We could be down at my local having a beer, and I wouldn't even know you were homeless.
No. A lot of people don't know you're homeless. But some people, just judge.
Yeah.
Judge by your look.
Well, mate, look, all the very best, and to the Hutt Street people, it's great that they're giving you a leg up. But we hope to see you back with a roof over your head soon.
Yeah. There's light at the end of the tunnel, like you said. They're trying. It's just there's that many homeless out there.
You said you did it 20 years ago. Does it feel different this time?
Oh, totally. There's a lot more heads, a lot more females. There seems to be more help at the Hutt Street Center than what it was 20 years ago. A lot safer.
They do a wonderful job. It's what this week is all about. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming in and talking to us and sharing your story a bit with us. It provides our listeners with wonderful insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like to donate, FIVEAA is the website, FIVEAA undiedrive.com.au. We'll check into the kitty very, very shortly. On the sports show tonight, Rowie and Timmy G can have a lot to digest. Mixed bag for Australia overnight. $17 Schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Albion Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau hotel. Matildas were exceptional, progressing to the round of 16 with an emphatic 4-0 win over Canada. Australia in the cricket, meanwhile, lost in a hurry last night. It was looking good until it wasn't, and then it ended quickly. They'll have all the analysis. What does it mean for the upcoming Test summer? What does it mean for the future of some of the players in the Test side? You'll hear it all with Rowie and Timmy G tonight. $17 Schnitty Monday to Wednesday, Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau hotel.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Circare Clinical Research Alliance in Adelaide is looking for people who experience migraines and headaches for a clinical trial. Visit painmedsa.com and click research today.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A possible morning shower, high of 16. With the 7:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
The state's road toll has climbed after a two-car crash at Sturt yesterday. It happened on Marion Road near the entrance to the Southern Expressway around 2:30. Both drivers were taken to the nearby Flinders Medical Centre for treatment. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says a 68-year-old man later died.
That man's death is the 71st life lost on SA roads this year compared with 43 at the same time last year.
The other driver, a 24-year-old Flagstaff Hill man, remains in hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The Reserve Bank is being warned of a potential recession if the board decides to lift interest rates at today's meeting. More from Michael Packey.
The RBA will hold its monthly meeting today, where it'll examine a raft of economic data as it considers its next interest rate move. The 12 hikes so far are starting to see inflation ease, but retail sales have slumped. New data shows weaker consumer spending means some businesses are also taking longer to pay their own bills. But amid the gloom, latest job numbers show more than 30,000 positions have been created. Regardless, analysts say there are still many households experiencing financial pain, and another rate hike could tip the country into recession.
Parents have been hit with fee rises of more than 15% from some daycare centres. The rise came just as the federal government increased taxpayers' subsidies. Fee increase for 90% of the 548 parents surveyed by the Parenthood Advocacy Group. The search to find 4 defence personnel after a helicopter crash is now a recovery mission. The crew's been declared dead after their Taipan went down off the coast of Queensland on Friday night. The ADF's entire fleet of Taipans has now been grounded, while the cause of the crash is investigated. Sir Paul McCartney's heading down under for his Got Back tour. The former Beatles performing 6 shows between October and November and will visit a number of cities around the country. Entertainment reporter Peter Ford says he'll be coming to Adelaide as it's a special stop.
That's where the Beatles arrived in Australia way back when, and there were extraordinary scenes in Adelaide. I mean, the reports say something up to 300,000 people all in King William Street in Adelaide's CBD to try and catch a glimpse of them.
He'll perform at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre on October the 18th. And the countdown to the Royal Adelaide Show continues as tickets go on sale today. Mel Usher has details.
It's almost showtime in Adelaide. The gates will open at Wavell this year from September 2nd to 10th. And from today, tickets to the 2023 show will go on sale. They can be bought online at theshow.com.au or from Foodland stores. Tickets must be purchased for either a weekday or weekend to help organisers manage crowd numbers. If you select weekend, you must choose a specific day. But if you choose the week, you can use your ticket for any day, Monday to Friday.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains. Trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. England bowler Stuart Broad has enjoyed a fairy tale send-off into Test cricket retirement, denying Australia an Ashes series victory. He took the final 2 wickets at the Oval on day 5. His outswinger to Alex Carey securing a 49-run win for the home side to level the series at 2-2.
Straight down the ground. It's fairy tale ending. He gets the ending that he wants. 604 and final Test wicket for Stuart Broad.
Yeah, great effort. That audio there, thanks to Channel 9. Well, a Hayley Raso double in the first half has helped Australia to a 4-0 win over Canada at the Women's World Cup, securing their spot in the round of 16 in front of 27,000 fans in Melbourne. The player of the match opened scoring 9 minutes into the do-or-die clash and later made up for a disallowed shot by teammate Mary Fowler to give Australia a 2-0 lead at half-time. Coach Tony Gustafsson has nothing but praise for the forward.
She encapsulates the never say die attitude as anyone else. Like, just give it 100, be true to who she is, always give it 100, whether it's tracking back and defending, running in behind the back line, but still stay composed in front of goal.
Audio there thanks to Optus Sport. Nigeria's 0-0 draw today with the bottom-placed Republic of Ireland in Brisbane has seen the Matildas take top spot in Group A. Well, Aaliyah has now been placed into the concussion protocols along with Lockie Jones. Port Adelaide now facing a please explain from the AFL as to why Aaliyah wasn't initially put in the concussion protocols. The club facing a hefty fine. And the Aussie Diamonds have made it 4 from 4 at the Netball World Cup in Cape Town after smashing Scotland 76-37. The Diamonds next face Malawi. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Good morning. Got a multi-car smash at Ranella. That's on the Southern Expressway inbound. It's near Sheriff's Road and causing delays. Crayfus West, a breakdown. That's on the freeway up track near the tunnels. And look out for rock slide this morning at Cuddly Creek. Gorge Road near Torrens Hill Road. Speeds at 50 in both directions. Getting busy. South Road at Mylene with cameras this morning. Grange Junction Road, Hope Valley. And Grange Road at Grange. Feel like a coffee? Enjoy freshly ground barista-made quality coffee from OTR. Order on the OTR app and it's as easy as click and collect. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Pack away the bikinis and boardies, pull out the woolies and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower with a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow up to 20. A shower or two developing on Thursday, 23. And then showers easing on Friday down to 14. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Will retirement living suit you? You're invited to FIVEAA's free open home events to get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could enjoy. Come along with family and friends to explore our communities, inspect our display homes, discover our social activities and chat with our friendly team. With 4 events across Adelaide from the 5th to the 10th of August, there's sure to be one near you. Take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Home today. RSVP is essential.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 8. Some donations coming in via 5AA.com.au. Jared Wadmore's put $200 into the kitty. Good on you, Jared. That is just incredibly generous. Appreciate it. Nico's chipped in 15. Graham Springbet's put in 100. Thank you, Graham. Rick Harley has put in $100 as well. Some really generous donations. Thank you. Remember, it doesn't have to be a huge sum of money. We found doing this over year after year that large numbers of small amounts is what gets us to a big total.
That means as well, Will, that we have hit the total required to get you to parade your Panda wares down the Rundle Mall, Adelaide's premier shopping strip. You're going. 9 o'clock. You're out the door. What about that?
I was going to go anyway. I had some shopping to do. Makes it easy. Beautiful. All right, let's
so, folks, just keep your eyes peeled for a 6'1" man. 6'1", I'm guessing.
I'm 5'11". I wish I was 6'1".
Yeah, okay. 5'11". 5'11". That's still reasonably tall. 5'11" Panda making its way down the mall in about an hour and a half's time.
All right, let's head to Canberra. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review joins us. Phil, good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, fellas.
Phil, you I think you've got the best record in Australia at the moment of tipping what the Reserve Bank is going to do. All the economists on this one are split down the middle. What's going to happen?
I reckon they'll pause.
I think
they'll hold off, yeah. I still think there's one more rate rise left in them, but I don't think we'll get all the hope. Again, don't go make investments based on what I'm about to say, but I think they'll hold off today because the inflation number that came out last week was lower than everyone thought, and the sort of retail spending numbers are down and stuff. So I'll go with pause.
Well, that's good, Phil. That feels like a vindication for us because that was our guess as well. So hopefully, given your track record, we're in good company.
The only thing I get right. So,
your mate, you've been wrong about Carlton. They've come good.
Never bagged them, Dave.
You were part of the reverse psychology.
I've got no idea what's happened. It's like some alien spirits infested their bodies, and they play. No, they're brilliant. I thought I was back in 1982 on Friday night watching that game. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you make of ScoMo having a bit of a moan about the robo debt stuff? I mean, he's well entitled to fire back, I guess, but. Do you think he's got a point about these royal commissions being used for party political purposes rather than getting to the bottom of something for the greater good? Although robo-debt was a scandal.
Yeah, look, the Libs would know because no one's politicised royal commissions more than the Liberal Party. Every time they get in the government, they have 100 of them. Everything Labor ever did. They have pink bats and in that building Labor used to own in Canberra, they had two into that. The building royal commission. So they use them all the time. No, look, I think. Two things here. Robo-debt did warrant a royal commission because it was a disaster. It was a policy disaster and a disgrace, and a lot of hundreds of thousands of people got affected by it. It was a minimum of 3 suicides. So, it had to be investigated. I think with Morrison's point, Morrison's not renowned for having a reverse gear, and I think we saw that on display yesterday. Yeah, he can't admit any wrongdoing at all, but clearly he's the guy who took it to cabinet. But he makes the point, I took it to cabinet, but I never actually, I changed portfolios soon after, so he never actually administered it or oversaw it. He thinks he's been disproportionately singled out by this thing, and he thinks it's unreasonable that he should have separately checked the legality of the scheme when he took it to cabinet, because the department that's what the department does, and it told him it was all legal and proper and stuff. And so he thinks he's been, as I said, unfairly and disproportionately targeted, and the Royal Commission doesn't understand how government works. And then he thinks, Labor's out there just to destroy him because of the job he did during COVID, trying to wreck his legacy on that, stuff like that. So he's hitting back because he's under a lot of pressure to leave, to quit the Parliament, and he's not going to because he hasn't got a job. And he can't find a job, but he needs an income. So that's basically him saying, I'm not going anywhere for now, and I'm not the villain everyone makes me out to be.
Great stuff, as always, Phil. Phil Curry, the National Political Editor for the Australian Financial Review.
It's 17 minutes to 8. We very, very shortly will be speaking to the CEO of Frontier Touring, who have just organised a huge coup. Paul McCartney coming to Australia with a series of stadium tours, except in Adelaide, where he is coming. He's starting the tour here at a small gig at the entertainment centre in front of 8,000 people. We did a snap poll earlier about your favourite Beatle. He still needs some work to do, Paul, because John Lennon won our snap poll earlier. He is still Adelaide's favourite Beatle. But maybe after this tour, Paul will sway a few people.
I just don't think you can split them. I don't think you can have one without the other.
Well, they very generously both signed off on all the songs, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're all written by McCartney and Lennon.
That's right.
Good text coming through on the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace, the 7-seater that's perfect for weekends away camping trips and the crazy Saturday sports rush.
Graham says if they don't tax alcohol and cigarettes, they'd have to tax something else. I've heard soft drink was on the hit list for the future. A lot of the health experts say that it should be.
They'd love it to be.
Yeah. But you'd think from a budgetary perspective, madly tempted to do it under the guise of, we're doing this to make the community more healthy. Someone says shut the free bar at Parliament House, then the pollies might care about a booze tax. Actually, they don't have a free bar there.
It's heavily subsidised, though. I know the food and drink at Parliament.
I think they changed it. I reckon they changed it in Canberra.
Not in North Terrace. It's cheap.
You know, in New South Wales Parliament, there used to be an actual bottle shop underground, and it was run by this completely slow-witted man who clearly knew nothing about wine. Because I rocked up there as a, wine-savvy South Australian callow youth in 1999, and someone said, we've got a bottle shop here. And I went, no way. So I walked down, there's this bloke standing there, went, g'day, mate, I'm Dave. I've moved over here from South Australia. He goes, how you going? And he said, I think we've got some South Australian red. And there was this box of, Penfold stuff, 389s and everything, and they just put, $15 on the bottles.
What?
Yeah, and I was just standing there going, is this $15, is it? He goes, yep. And I went, okay, I'll have 12 of them. They got wise to it because about a month later they changed all the prices because we were just cleaning the place out.
Andrew in Rosedale on the Duttons text line says, I really hope I can get tickets to see McCartney. Myself and my family like the Beatles, but my youngest, 9, is a super fan. He knows all of the songs and virtually everything there is to know about the band and its members. Well, I hope you can get it along, Andrew. We'll tell you how you can get tickets in just a moment. First, traffic.
Thanks, Will. Multicast smash to look out for today on the Southern Expressway inbound. It is Sheriff's Road and causing delays. Cravers West, a breakdown. It's on the freeway uptrack near the tunnels. And got a rock slide at Cuddly Creek to look out for this morning. Gorge Road near Torrens Hill Road speeds it out at 50. It's affecting both directions too. Starting to get busy South Road at Mile End with a camera. Hutt Street at Semaphore. Is your car ready for the winter roads? If not, get it serviced by the CanStar award-winning team at UltraTune. Voted number 1 again. Call or search UltraTune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
CMAX is proudly South Australian, leading advancements in global healthcare for 30 years with the help of thousands of individuals just like you. If you're aged 18 or older, you may be eligible to participate in CMAX trials, which investigate potential treatments for a range of conditions, such as lung or kidney diseases. You'll be paid for your time upon your successful participation. Check your eligibility for CMAX trials today at cmax.com.au.
What is Louver House? Simple. Louver House turns your outdoor area into a stunning entertainment space with an opening and closing roof. With rain sensors, you'll keep winter out. And when you need to, you can let the light in, so you can be outdoors and entertain all year round. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with options like LED lighting. But you be the judge. Find out more with a free design, measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
Introducing the 2023 World Performance Car of the Year, the Kia EV6 GT. 430 kilowatts of power and 740 Newton meters of torque. With its unique Australian-tuned GT suspension and steering, the Kia EV6 exceeds all expectations. The Kia EV6 GT, the most powerful Kia ever built.
Kia, movement that inspires.
To help build South Australia's future, our young people need the skills to build theirs. That's why the state government is building 5 new technical colleges across the state. They'll help address our critical skills shortage and take high school students from in-school to in-demand in areas like advanced manufacturing and engineering, defence, early childhood education and health and social support. Findon Technical College opens next year. Get a head start to a hands-on career while completing your SACE. Apply now for Year 10 or 11 at technicalcolleges.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia, Adelaide.
Is there a God? What is the meaning of life? Do I actually need unlimited data to watch a few cat videos on my commute? Cute.
Question everything, especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
I'm Ned, and I'm a geek. I'm no good at voiceovers, but amazing at fixing your tech problems. All Geeks to You techies work on any device and give great advice. For in-person or remote tech support, go to geeks2u.com.au. That's the number 2, the letter U.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
.08, John Blake coming up in just a moment, but it's the biggest story in town today. Paul McCartney coming to Adelaide to start his Australia-wide tour, playing at the Entertainment Centre in front of 8,000 of the luckiest music fans in the world. We are joined now by the CEO of Frontier Touring, have brought Paul McCartney to town, Dion Brandt. Dion, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're good, Dion. We're probably not as good as you, though, mate. This must have been quite the coup. I imagine there would have been quite a lot of high-fiving and celebrating in the offices of Frontier Touring.
Yeah, it's super exciting. We had Paul McCartney in Australia in 2017, and that was after a very long gap. And the shows were just so incredible and so well received that it won the Helpman Award that year as the best international concert. And so literally since he left in 2017, we've been working on trying to get him back to Australia, and now we've managed to get him back. So it's a very exciting day for us to be announcing this tour, and a very exciting day to be bringing it to Adelaide this time.
Well, I've got to say, we've just gone through the madness here of thousands and thousands of South Australians all madly trying to get Taylor Swift tickets and then having to go the extra yard of flying to Melbourne or flying to Sydney and organising accommodation. We've become sadly accustomed to some of the big name acts passing us by. So it's terrific that we're part of it. And also too, noting that he's playing at some other smaller locations like Newcastle and also on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, we definitely look. Adelaide was one that was on the list right from 2017 for this tour. The last time we just couldn't make the scheduling work to get Adelaide into the time that we had available. So this time around, it was always one that was going to be a priority. And then Paul also wanted to play some different markets the last time, so Newcastle, Gold Coast on the list as well, which is it's really great. It's fantastic to be taking such a legend to markets where they don't always go and they don't always get to. So. Exciting shows.
I'm sure you know this, and Paul would know it too, and that is if he could turn up anywhere and play probably the biggest venue you've got. I'm sure he'd sell 50,000 tickets at Adelaide Oval. Why the smaller venue?
Well, it's the first show of the tour, so they need to get everything here. They need to set up all the technical gear and test all of that and have everything sort of ready to go for the tour. And, look, I know Adelaide is beautiful one day and perfect the next, but it is in 10 weeks' time in October, so it's still a little bit up and down, and so I think having that indoor capability to get everything set up is what we needed.
It feels like a really quick turnaround time because often with these concerts, you end up buying tickets for them and then almost forgetting that you had them, and because the show doesn't happen until like 8 or 10 or 12 months later. But it's sort of right on the cusp of actually being here at being announced.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? I mean, especially now that tickets are so often electronic, so you can't just put them on the fridge and remember them either. It is often a big lead time, but this time around it's a much quicker lead time. Looking at Paul's schedule for all of the various projects he's got on, this was the window that was available, and we were very happy to jump on it and grab the time we could get and get him back here.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff. Actually, Dion, before I let you go, do you think Adelaide needs another bigger stadium? Like, as someone who's into staging these events, and obviously it's not an issue with Sir Paul wanting to do a more bespoke type tour, but do you think that we miss out on things because we don't have the infrastructure?
Look, I know it was a very politically sensitive topic over there, but I did think that the plan for the large arena in Adelaide, I think, would have been a really effective thing in Adelaide to be able to have that sort of play at around 15,000, 16,000 under a roof and with certainty of that and the ease of getting in and out of that, I think would have made a difference over there. So, you know, but I know that was a controversial topic at the time, and these things are expensive to build. So it certainly wouldn't hurt to have had a bigger arena though.
Yeah. Put it back on the government to-do list, regardless of whether it's Labor or Liberal. Good on you, Dion. Dion Brandt, the CEO of Frontier Touring. That'd be a fun way to make a living, wouldn't it? Imagine that.
Oh, absolutely.
Great job.
I tell you what, I'd love to hear from some more listeners who are Paul McCartney fans that are waking up excited this morning, trying to plan their time around how they're going to be among the 8,000 to get tickets. If you've got a lucky charm when it comes to getting to these sorts of things, if you've got a technique, probably don't want to share your technique on commercial breakfast radio. 8223 0000 is the number.
Hi there. Hey, listen, I've got some good news for you. We'll be coming back on the road, getting out with the band and playing places, some of which we've never played before. So we're really excited. We're coming back. We got back.
That is Paul McCartney coming to Adelaide in October. You're right. It's not 12 months away. It's 12 weeks away.
Yeah.
Not even 12 weeks away. It's coming up to 5 minutes to 8, and it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Good morning, early risers. This is Wallace Fogg with another 5AA News Update. Well, it's been run and won for another year, the Logies, and it went off without a hitch, apart from the fact that it was televised. It is seen as our once-a-year information night where actors give us advice on politics, climate change, interest rates, human rights, how to vote yes in the voice referendum, and the right time to have a hysterectomy. Looking at the list of winners, people are now wondering if there's anybody on Australian TV who didn't win an award. The list of categories, including Best Actor or Best Actress, will surely become even longer when Logie officials realise they don't yet have categories for actors who don't identify as male or female. A category for agender actors, multi-gender actors and androgyne actors who identify as somewhere in between. Some are upset that the cartoon Bluey didn't win for Best Children's Show, but it was pointed out that the Bluey audience is too young to read, let alone vote. A lot of people are now saying that for his hosting, Sam Pang should have been a late entry and won the Gold Logie. In other news, Victorian Premier Dan Andrews has been lashed online and labelled a hypocrite after a photo of him cooking on a gas stove came to light. This comes after the Victorian government announced a total ban on natural gas connections to new homes from next year. People are now asking why they can't have a total ban on Dan Andrews from next year. Cooking on an electric stove takes longer than cooking with gas, and therefore people are worried that it will affect productivity. If we eat dinner later, we'll get to bed later, and that will mean we'll be tired at work. Tasmanian Senator Jackie Lambie commented on the Victorian gas ban.
This is crap.
She also said, God, you can't have a good state without gas, mate. And isn't it good to hear the statesman-like quality of the Australian political scene? And that's the news for this Tuesday. I'm Wallace Fogg. More 5AA news coming up at 8 o'clock, or as close as we can get.
Well, John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. Thanks to Angelo, who's just tipped $50 into the kitty for Hutt Street Center in Catherine House by donating at 5AAUndiedrive.com.au.
All right.
The Challenge Bowl has just entered the studio. We need to kick along the donations, so it's time to pull out an envelope and see what the challenge gods have devised.
Starting to get a bad feeling, if I'm honest, watching you sitting there dressed as a panda, Will,
thinking I slowly expire.
What you look a bit like Alain Prost at the end of a few laps of a Formula One track. You probably lost 5 kilograms by the end of the show.
I don't know how hairy Elaine was, but I took the suit off and I'm covered in these black hairs. It's like I'm molting. I'm not sure what's going on there. The challenge.
I've been coping with that for years. Can't help your ancestry, though.
A challenge for you, David, according to the Challenge Bowl gods. David, you must get yourself to Channel 7 in the next 24 hours and complete a news reading screen test.
Oh, no way.
But for you to have to do it, we need to raise another $1,000 for the Hutt Street Center. to get you on TV by 9 o'clock.
This is all part of your sort of side hustle, trying to further consolidate your stranglehold on the newsreader's position, lest anyone at 7 be under the delusion that I could ever replace you.
This is going to be excellent.
I live in fear of doing that.
Jump online. Well, we've seen you've done a bit of it with Punch TV. Jump online, available on YouTube. 5AA
There is
Undie
no
Drive.
Punch TV, and there never was.
.com.au and donate. We need $1,000 more to get David in front of the camera on the desk at 7. I'll text the people at 7 in this ad break and make sure we can get the studio. We'll have a full crew in. We'll film the whole thing.
Have you got Kerry Staggs' mobile? Have you?
Yeah. No, I think Kerry wrote this one.
Do I need a sign off? I got to think of a sign off.
You can think of a sign off if you like. You can do it however you please, David. But we need $1,000 to get you in the studio for Hutt Street Center and Catherine House. I'll make some inquiries during the news, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
Don't miss the iconic choir boys and country chart toppers Kingswood rocking the Murray at this year's OTR Super Sprint. Be there on Saturday, August 19 as they take centre stage straight after the Supercars race from 5 p.m. Treat yourself to the perfect day out of the Bend with limited premium ticketing and corporate options still available. Plus $10 return bus tickets from Adelaide. Don't miss rocking the Murray at OTR Super Sprint. Visit theben.com.au for tickets.
The high-tech home of tomorrow has a new name. It's not Siri or Alexa. It goes by the name Jim. Add data, security and complete connectivity to your home with Jim's antennas and security. Start by asking Jim to boost your Wi-Fi for streaming TV and gaming. It's easy with integrated cables and extra data points. Jim can make sure your free-to-air channels are crystal clear too. For a high-tech home, just ask Jim. Hey Jim. Jim's antennas and security.com.au.
To celebrate 70 years in solar, Solar Heart is giving you the chance to win a Tesla Model 3 electric vehicle worth up to $70,000. Simply buy a Solar Heart solar power system, Solar Heart water heater, heat pump or home battery and enter for your chance to win. Get smart. Get Solar Heart. Terms and conditions apply. Visit solarheart.com.au for details. Open to AU residents 18+. Ends 30th of September 2023. SA permit T23/871.
Online, on DAB digital radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible morning shower, a high of 16. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
A man has died following a two-car crash at Sturt yesterday. It happened on Marion Road near the entrance to the Southern Expressway. A 68-year-old Woodcroft man died later in hospital. The other driver suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The death is the 71st life lost on our roads this year compared to 43 a year ago. And police have reported a driver after a fiery crash at Clarence Park early this morning. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says a Toyota sedan crashed into a tree and caught fire at the corner of Cross Road and Hill Avenue.
Luckily, the two occupants were able to escape without injury. However, that car was completely destroyed by the fire. Police directed the driver of the car to submit to a roadside breath test, but he's allegedly refused. So a 23-year-old man from Cumberland Park, he was reported for failing to comply with the breath test and also driving without due care.
About 150,000 homeowners are facing a mortgage cliff as they move off cheap fixed loans to higher variable rates. The Reserve Bank Board's meeting today to decide if interest rates will rise for a 13th time. Economists say the decision's line ball. Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers is told today the government's trying to help as many households as possible.
We've got help rolling out when it comes to the cost of early childhood education, taking some of the edge off electricity bills. We've got rent assistance. So what we're trying to do is to provide as much cost of living help as we can, to roll that out right now, but to do it in the most responsible way that doesn't actually add to inflation at the end of the day.
And alcoholic drinks will be more expensive from today due to an increase in the excise, which is linked to inflation. Due to the way it's calculated, the rate of tax on beer is higher than that on wine. Matt Kierkegaard from Beermat says nearly half the cost of a slab is now taxed.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's not taxed on the price in the case of beer, it's taxed on the alcohol that goes into it. So if you go down and buy a slab of beer that maybe costs $50, $55, 20 of that is excise and $5 of that is GST.
The nationwide search for rare blood donors for Adelaide mum Amira continues. She needs more than 20 bags for heart surgery. A donor has been found in Victoria and 2 bags are being flown from the UK. Director of Donor Relations Stephen Eldridge says they still need more though.
We've seen a fantastic response, particularly in South Australia, but we really need more support from the rest of the country. And we've opened up more appointments nationwide to help with the search.
Search crews off the coast of North Queensland are looking for crucial data from the Defence Force helicopter which crashed on Friday night. More from Josh Bavis.
All 4 men on board the MRH-90 Type N helicopter are believed to have died in the crash in the vicinity of Hamilton Island on Friday. Specialist military teams are now scouring the region for their bodies, as well as crucial data recording devices, which may help authorities understand what occurred. Officials won't buy into speculation about whether they know the aircrew had the time to issue a mayday call. They said the wreckage suggests the crash was sudden and catastrophic.
US actor and comic Paul Rubens has died following a private battle with cancer. He was best known for his portrayal of the eccentric character Pee Wee Herman. He was 70. And new research shows playing a certain sport can put you at higher risk of skin cancer than the general population. Chandra Llewellyn reports.
The University of South Australia says 1 in 4 golfers have a skin cancer diagnosis, making them more than twice as likely to be at risk of the condition. Lead researcher Dr. Brad Stenner has told News Corp players need to remember to be sun smart while on the green. 27% of golfers had been diagnosed, compared with just 7% of the general population. It makes up for the largest number of diagnoses in the country each year.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains. Trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. England has won the 5th test, but Australia retains the urn as a memorable Ashes series finishes at 2-2. Retiring English quick Stuart Broad took the final 2 wickets to secure a 49-run win at the Oval. Mitchell Starc has been named Australia's man of the series, while Chris Wokes was man of the match and England's best. Aussie captain Pat Cummins says 2-2 is a fair reflection of the series.
Yeah, I think so. 2 really high-quality teams that seemed like every session was, shared the honours. So I think 2-2 is fair. Wonderful series to be part of.
Audio there thanks to 9. Well, the Matildas will recover today following last night's emphatic 4-0 thrashing of Canada in Melbourne. Facing elimination, the Aussies smashed the Olympic champions to send them packing, while Sam Kerr spent the entire match on the bench, raising hopes she will be fit for the knockout stages in a week's time. Well, Port Adelaide is facing a heavy sanction for failing to immediately put Aliir into the concussion protocols during Saturday night's showdown. He's now in those protocols along with Lockie Jones, meaning the pair will miss Saturday night's crucial clash against Geelong. Olympic runner Peter Bowl says it's a dream come true to be cleared by Sport Integrity Australia after returning a positive drug test in January. The national record holder has always maintained his innocence, saying the finding was a false positive. The World Anti-Doping Agency says it will assess the current review process for positive results. And Australia's netballers have notched up another comfortable win at the World Cup in South Africa. They dominated Scotland 76-37 to keep their undefeated record intact. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louva House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Good morning. Got a smash at Noarlunga to look out for this morning. It's on Main South Road just before the Southern Expressway entry delays inbound. Another smash. This one's at Ranella on the Southern Expressway. It's near Sheriff's Road causing delays inbound as well. I've got a breakdown slowing things up at Crafers West. It's on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Busy South Road at Mile End with a camera Briar Road at Felixstowe. Aussie-owned, the Lottery Office has a massive $1.5 billion up for grabs in the USA Mega Lotto. Visit lotteryoffice.com.au now before it's gone. Adelaide's most accurate traffic. on 5AA.
Pack away the boardies and bikinis, pull out the Uggies and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower, a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow, up to 20. Then a shower or two developing on Thursday, 23. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 after 8. We've had our first non-round number donation. I like people whose mind aren't bound by the base 10 number system. A $29 donation.
29? A bit like that weird guy on the block who always does his bids.
Really?
Yeah, he does bids of like, $1,631.27.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's the person. I'm not sure. But at $29... Look, it's all money for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Center, of course. Keep them coming in. 5AA-undiedrive.com.au is the place to donate. We need... Well, I can't do the maths now because of $29 person. We need $981. Yeah.
$971.
No, $971. $971.
$971.
I told you.
That one.
$971 for David to do a screen test at Channel 7. I've spoken to the news director. They are excited, actually.
Are they sadists as well?
I think they've had your name circled for a while, frankly.
Right.
This guy has a TV career, and I think it harks back in part to Punch TV.
Oh, don't play it.
Hello and welcome to The Punch. I'm David Penberthy, and this is the first edition of The Punch on Sky News from the website of the same name. And in our Canberra bureau, we're joined by the Minister for Sport, Kate Ellis.
That's good.
What about that?
So it wasn't a total
More
loss,
of a
Punch
dating
TV.
agency than television program.
Hey, was that the pickup? Do you want to come on my TV show?
Well, I figured no one was watching, so I might as well ask her out. Seriously, I reckon the only people who watch it were our parents.
Well, that is a warning for Channel 7.
I
no live talent for David to throw to.
I did a Kerry Packer on myself. After 4 episodes, I went into the boss and I said, "This show's never going to air again." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Haven't you been watching it? It's bloody terrible."
I think
it was so bad.
You've had a long exposure to broadcast media since then, so I think this
doesn't feel like broadcasting.
You're
this
on
is just
TV. We've got the Foodland Supermarkets, Facebook and YouTube.
South Australia talking to itself. This isn't some sort of, at the moment the cameras go on, I feel myself. I don't know, I get this hot sensation on the back of my neck, and I think I'm on air. I'm being beamed out. I'm the little man inside the box.
You're in the TV box.
I just can't cop it.
Well, don't worry, because that's exactly what you're going to do if we raise another $971 before 9 o'clock this morning. The Channel 7 studio is ready. There'll be the floor crew ready to go. All the cameras, the set. It's all set up for you to do a screen test for TV.
Do I get makeup?
If you want. I don't think you need it, do you?
Yeah, I'll be all shiny. My olive complexion.
We'll give it a shave and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we just need some more donations.
You've probably got
to make the dream a
bag
reality.
I can borrow.
Do you want me to do it for you? No, let's not
only
do
if you're dressed as a panda.
Well, I've got some good news for you, sir. I just went to without wanting to give too much away behind the scenes of radio, the magic of radio, I did go to the bathroom during the 8 o'clock news.
I wondered how that was going to go.
There is panda hair where there shouldn't be panda hair. Now, and as I was walking past, Matt Padtellis says, just be careful with the zip. So that gives you a bit of a sense as to what's going on here in Panda Land at the moment. Shall we break some, 8?
Let's do it. There are real concerns for the future of the limousine industry in South Australia. I reckon there'll be a lot of people listening who got a stretch limo for their wedding, or maybe shared with some friends for their school formal, maybe a bit of wine tasting. For a very long time, limos have been part of the sort of suite of services that people think about accessing when they want to have a good time here in South Australia. I didn't know this. And we're going to get one of the limousine operators on the show tomorrow. But the rules applying to limousines are completely different in South Australia, where stretch limos, which have 12 seats or less, they've got an operating lifespan of 15 years or a maximum odometer of 320,000 kilometres. If the operator applies for an exemption, the vehicle can operate for 20 years. Now, they brought this law in the 90s to stop an influx of high mileage limos coming in from interstate. But what's happened is it's had the reverse effect. Because in other states in Australia, there's no restriction to the lifespan or the mileage of the car, provided it's roadworthy. But here, after 15 years, you need to get the exemption, and that only lasts for another 20 years. And now there's confusion as to what it means, because some of these cars are absolutely fine. They're not used that often in a distant sense. But the number of limos locally has gone from about 100 limousines in the late 90s, and now there's only 11 left. One other thing that's affecting them is that limos aren't allowed to operate like taxis. They can only be pre-booked. But my understanding from what I've been told by one of the drivers is that while they have had a meeting with the Shadow Transport Minister, Vincent Tarzia, who's been quite sympathetic and understands the situation and has said that he's going to raise it in Parliament, they've been getting the runaround by the Transport Department. They're trying to get the Act of legislation amended to fall in line with other states. They've had no helpful response at all. And according to the limo driver I've spoken to, the industry, as it currently stands, will cease to exist within the next 10 years because none of the remaining 11 limos are going to be able to fit this absurdly onerous criteria, even though a lot of them are roadworthy. Now, the other problem is that if a limousine operator wants to just go, all right, my car is old, I'll get a new one, they cost about $500 grand.
Well, I was going to say, the problem, surely, of the business model is they all have to be a bit old because you've got to drive them for a long time before you get a return on investment.
Yeah. As I'm saying this, I got a text from Tom Koutsantonis, who is the Transport Minister, saying, this is the first I've heard of this, I'll chase it up immediately.
Oh, good.
Good to know that the Minister is listening. My understanding is that the limo drivers at the moment have been trying to get this addressed at the departmental level, but we will have a chat to one of the limo drivers over the next day or so, because it's a good little industry and it's something that has given a lot of people a lot of enjoyment. So we'll see what comes, particularly now that we know that the Minister is aware of it and pledging to pay attention too.
Give us a call. When was the last time you were in a limo? 8223 0000, or text us on the Dutton's text line.
You'd look good in a limo today, mate. You know, up the back.
I'd stand out through the sunroof like this with a
bamboo. Waving your bamboo.
Yeah. Conducting.
Drinking some sort of,
I'm sure they love that
Chinese
when people
cocktail.
stand up through the... Yeah, that's right. Take me to Joslin.
Take me to Joslin. Home, Jeeves.
When was the last time you were in a limo? Let us know. 8223 0000 is the number. Or Dutton's text line, the Volkswagen Tiguan All-Space, the 7-seater that's perfect for weekends away camping trips and the crazy Saturday sports rush. Mary in Flagstaff Hill has called in. Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Panda. Good morning, Dave.
How are you going there, Mary?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
I've had 2 messages on my phone this morning, one from a cousin in Scotland and one from my daughter who's working in Brisbane this week, saying about the Paul McCartney concert. But I need to get a job. I'm 75. I don't have that kind of money anymore. Like when I saw Paul McCartney in 1964 with the Beatles at Centennial Hall, I'm sure the tickets were $3.
Wow, $3.
Like that. 30 bob, I think it was, somewhere around that. But, they're a wee bit past the pension age rate.
Well, if you're on the age pension,
sure are.
It's, starting at $150 for the cheap ones. It's a fair bit of dough, isn't it, Mary?
Well, hopefully I've dropped a big enough hint to my daughter that she'll say, oh, Mummy, I'll take you.
Yeah, I would have thought.
For sure.
Come on, be a good daughter. Hey, Mary, do you remember any of the music of 1964? Lots of people I speak to remember the crowd and they remember the build-up and the excitement and things. Do you remember any of the songs?
Oh, come on. As I said, I'm 75. Twist and Shout, was that their first song?
That was the first one they played, was it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm 99% sure of that, because my sister's also said that that's her funeral song. And if she's really dead, she won't get up and dance.
That's a good funeral song, actually. I don't know why, you always seem to have a morose song at a funeral. It's a good one.
No, absolutely. absolutely. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I will manage to get to see Mr. McCartney. Sorry, Sir Paul.
Sir Paul.
Yeah, Sir Paul.
Exactly right. I'll tell you what, Mary, we're going to send you a FIVEAA breakfast mug, and let us keep us across whether your daughter gets the hint. Now, if she doesn't get the hint, we'll just call her one morning, all right? We'll get it sorted out. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. 8223 the number. You can text us on the Dutton's text line for people that used a limo on the text line. I got a limo for my 60th, and the family loved it. From the 80-year-old parents through to the young grandkids. I think that's the effect limos have, isn't it? They're the great evener.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a limo.
Oh, yeah, totally. George of Semaphore wants to know, Will, are you going to be going to the zoo today to meet Wang Wang and Fooney?
No.
Particularly now you're a father, might be able to give old Wang Wang a few tips.
The whole panda mating ritual in the wild is incredibly violent.
Yes, it is.
And I don't want to be there to be, the human, the incentive to kick things along, mauled to death.
You've only got like about a 3-hour window as well.
Yeah,
You've got to work fast.
The female needs to watch someone of its species get mauled to death, and that gets them in the mood generally.
Yeah, no, you don't want to get involved in that.
No, I don't want to be part of that action.
Yeah. Kaz in Brompton says, folks are the inevitable karma. Guess what, Pembo? You are the little man on the box to those of us on the Foodland live stream, and no makeup either, and we still keep watching.
There you go,
no
Kaz.
accounting for taste. And thank God for that.
19 minutes after 8, 5undie.com.au. Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, the major sponsor of the Undie Drive this year.
Love
donating.
DBH.
We need $1,000 to get David on the small screen. This could be the start of a, Logie nomination, another career.
Cult television.
We will make it uploadable and digestible for
great.
all. That will be broadcast on all of our channels.
Bring on the ridicule.
No, it might be superb.
Might be.
Everyone at 7's very excited about this. It's time to check traffic.
Thanks, Will. Got a crash to look out for this morning at Croydon Park, South Road near Pym Street. Noarlunga, collision on Main South Road just before the Southern Expressway entry. Pretty solid delays inbound at the moment. And Ranella, another smash. Multi-cars involved in this one. It's on the Southern Expressway inbound near Sheriff's Road, also causing delays. Busy Marion Road at West Richmond with a camera, Jetty Road at Larks Bay. See your local Goodie Auto Care expert for all your tyre and service needs. Plus, your chance to win the ultimate 2023 NRL Grand Final package for 2. Conditions apply. See in store for details. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Taylor Walker kicking 7 and the Crows thumping Port in Showdown 54, and those of us that's all we wanted all year was round 20 to win both showdowns. Timmy, I know you're going to spew up, but boy, we've won our grand final.
Rowie and Timmy G.
The only thing I was...
Your team didn't turn up.
The only thing I was thinking was, why couldn't you lose your voice this week? Is that fair?
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
The future's in our students' hands. That's why phones shouldn't be. The state government has banned mobile phones in all public high schools. So it's phones off while school's on. Learn more at phonesoff.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
Tax return is done.
That's right. Tick.
Refund on the way.
Tick.
Now, what to do with it? Well, of course, you can replenish your emergency fund, but then replenish yourself and get that Puritap.
That's right. Now's the time to join Puritap's war on waste by reducing single-use plastics. You'll get great-tasting filtered water that will replenish you forever.
Head to the Puritap website now and check out the amazing prices. How good's this? A Puritap from only $49 up front. That is pure value.
Yep, got one myself. They're great. It's a designer tap, installation and filters for 2 years on a great payment plan.
Call Puritap on 133502 or go to puritap.com.au. Some T's and C's apply.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows back to redirect to you.
No
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Are you suffering from debilitating chronic migraines? Circare Clinical Research Alliance in Adelaide is looking for people who experience 15 to 26 migraines and headaches per month to participate in an experimental medical device clinical trial. The Shiratronics Migraine Therapy System is designed to reduce the number and pain intensity of migraines. There are no costs associated and travel expenses will be reimbursed. To participate or find out more, call PainMedSA or visit painmedsa.com and click Research today.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 after 8. Another $200 in the kitty. David has donated very kindly via 5AAundieDrive.com.au. Thank you, Mr. David Baker. He says on the proviso, David speaks the line during his TV audition. Crowie loses a slab to Pommy Dave after the Aussies throw away a chance to win the Ashes. Well, he can say whatever he wants. He's the one on the screen. David's...
well, I've got to say what's on the auto cue, don't I?
Exactly. You will learn the harsh lesson, my friend, that you just say the words.
Yeah, you don't go off the...
You just say
you
the
just
words.
read the words.
Exactly right.
How do you make the words appear? Is there like a little... Is it a computer program or is it like a pedal?
No. It's not Punch TV. This is the major network. You have an auto cue operator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do I get touched up mid-news item?
I don't know what you did at Punch TV.
I mean, touched up as in, application of more
Sorry,
foundation.
I was going to say.
Not, anything untoward.
Nothing that going on at Channel 7, my friend. The movie bowl yesterday was handed over to a listener who donated before 7 o'clock. They became the movie czar and picked the film The Green Mile for Lucy to watch this morning. A lot of people texted afterwards saying, excellent choice by Leslie. Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. Morning, Luce.
Good morning. Yes, I have to say a big thank you to Leslie for choosing a 3-hour and 9-minute movie.
Is it that long?
Yep.
I had no idea it was that long.
Neither did I. And I
Wow.
went to the shops and had to buy some instant coffee anyway. Then I stopped off to get a proper coffee. Hello to Stephen, who recognised me at the Unley shops there as I was stocking up on caffeine to sit down for my 3 hours.
You didn't watch the director's cut?
I watched the only version that I had to pay for to watch it,
Oh, goodness.
which was
Okay.
anyway. Well, that aside, I had a lot of people thinking I'd love it, a lot of people thinking I'd hate it. Here we go.
Which ones were right?
And a lot of people wondering at what point would I cry.
Okay.
Here we go. The Green Mile, derived, of course, from Stephen King's novel. I found it incredibly moving, captivating, mysterious. The character arcs are incredible. Will, stop waving that at me. And the characters were perfectly cast. I found the fantastical element as part of the drama slightly abnormal, but of course it made John Coffey's, not the drink, character all the more special. Albeit I did skip over the electrocution parts.
They're a bit rough.
And I skipped over all of them. Like, I didn't even, from the second I knew they were walking a person to the chair, I went, nah, let's go to 8 minutes in the future. So I know what happened, and I didn't want to see it because I looked it up after. So I skipped over the electrocution, but the rest of the 3 hours was exceptional, and I absolutely loved it. Now, when did Lucy cry?
When did you cry?
Did you cry?
I did cry. It tells you something about my character. I only cried when the mouse reappears at the very end of the film.
What? Mr. Jangles? Is that his name?
Yeah, Mr. Jingles. I absolutely love animals, and when this mouse, I'm actually going to cry about it now. When Paul says, "Come on, old friend, out you come," and the mouse is 44 years old.
I didn't know mice could live that long.
No, that's the whole point of the movie.
Anyway, it was just
What's the green stuff, that green radiant sort of light that comes out of his mouth?
Yeah, that was the bit
He's
I
got
found
a power.
abnormal.
He can cure for people. And
Yeah,
things.
healing powers. Anyway, so I cried from the moment the mouse reappeared.
Who's the actor? Who's the African American guy?
Michael Duncan Jr.,
yeah.
who's sadly no longer with us, had a heart attack in his 50s, sadly.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying Tom Hanks is my favourite actor, but currently his films are my highest rankings. I give The Green Mile 4.5 stars,
Wow.
which joins the only other film in 4.5 stars, which is Forrest Gump.
There you go, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Now, the bit of audio I
Have you
picked-
seen Bachelor Party?
Nope, I have not. I'll add it to the list. The final monologue that Paul gives, I cried all the way through after, because the mouse had already reappeared by this point, so I was bawling. Anyway, here is elderly Paul at the end of the film.
I'm 108 years old, Elaine. I was 44 the year that John Coffey walked the Green Mile. Oh, I've lived to see some amazing things, Ellie. Another century come to pass. But I've had to see my friends and loved ones die off through the years. Hal and Melinda, Brutus Hal, my wife, my boy, and you, Elaine. You'll die too. And my curse is knowing that I'll be there to see it. It's my atonement, you see. It's my punishment for letting John Coffey ride the lightning, for killing a miracle of God.
Musical score's doing a lot of good work there too, isn't it?
I was still thinking about the mouse. Anyway,
Hey, Liz, maybe
thank you, Leslie. Great suggestion.
Well
You
done,
made me cry
Leslie.
on air, so
Yeah.
Leslie, you can have a special prize.
Maybe the link isn't just Tom Hanks. Maybe it's Stephen King stories. Maybe you'd like The Shining.
If it's got an animal,
Here's Johnny!
If it's got an animal in it, it probably will.
I think if
just love
Leslie's
animals.
superpower is picking movies that Lucy will like, your superpower might be picking movies Lucy will hate. Thank you, Luce. Magnificent
Your money's
work.
not good here, Mr. Torrance.
Movies are better at the big screens at Wallace Cinema, Mitcham, Mount Barker, Noarlunga, and the Piccadilly, wallace.com.au. Delighted to announce too, there's some big donations coming through on the 5AA Undie Drive website to get David to do a screen test at Channel 7 to becoming a news reading phenomenon.
I might be able to be the next host of Q&A. I'll be good hosting that show.
that'd be
What sort of a question's that, you commie halfwit?
That'd be the only thing that'd get me watching Q&A. We still need about...
you down the front, shut up. Stop clapping.
$500 or so for the Catherine House and Hutt Street Center. So get donating. We want to see David's TV screen test.
Celebrate 85 years of Nescafe and win $2,000 instantly. Purchase a participating Nescafe product and enter online for your chance to win. There's a winner every day for 85 days. But hurry, this ends soon. T's and C's at nescafe.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A possible morning shower, a high of 16. With the 8:30 news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Planning a function? Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre team to elevate your vision for your next event.
The Reserve Bank is contemplating its 13th interest rate hike, with economists suggesting the decision is line ball. More from Michael Packy.
The RBA board will examine a raft of economic data as it deliberates its next interest rate move. Previous rate hikes have seen inflation come down, but retail sales are weaker despite a strong jobs market. Creditor Watch chief economist Anniki Thompson believes rates will stay on hold, warning a further hike would be damaging.
Really send a bit of a shiver through business sentiment.
Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers concedes some people are doing it tough, but is playing down suggestions of a major economic downturn.
We're not forecasting a recession.
About 150,000 homeowners are scheduled to come off their cheap fixed loans and onto higher variable rates.
A man's died in hospital following a two-car crash at Sturt yesterday. Senior Constable Kimberly Broad says it happened on Marion Road near the entrance to the Southern Expressway.
68-year-old man from Woodcroft. He died in hospital. The second driver is a 24-year-old man from Flagstaff Hill, and he sustained serious injuries but not considered life-threatening at this stage. We had major crash investigators attend at the scene, and they are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash.
The road toll now 71 compared to 43 at this time a year ago. Police have reported a driver after a fiery crash at Clarence Park this morning. They were called to the corner of Cross Road and Hill Avenue around 1:30 after the Toyota crashed into a tree and caught alight. Luckily, the two occupants were able to escape without injury. The driver allegedly refused to submit to a roadside breath test. The 23-year-old man from Cumberland Park's been reported for driving without due care, failing to comply with a breath test and issued with a 12-month instant loss of licence. 2 bags of blood are being flown here from the UK and another donor's been found in Victoria as the search for rare blood donors for sick Adelaide mum Amira intensifies. Lifeblood has opened up extra appointments and Director of Donor Relations Stephen Eldridge says any A or O blood type could be a potential match.
Amira is going to need more than 20 bags of blood prior to, during and after her heart surgery, which means that around 15 Australian donors are needed.
Legendary singer-songwriter Sir Paul McCartney will soon head down under. The former Beatles bringing his Got Back tour to Australia for 6 shows between October and November. He'll play in cities including Adelaide, Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne, as well as some regional centres.
We'll be coming back on the road, getting out with the band and playing places, some of which we've never played before. So we're really excited. We're coming back.
He'll perform at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre on October the 18th. And SALA, the South Australian Living Artists Festival, kicks off today. It'll run for the entire month with almost 11,000 artists participating. You'll find hundreds of exhibitions all over the place, from galleries and cafes to hairdressers and laneways. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber for block drains. Trusted since 1983. Give Ken a call.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australia has missed out on winning its first Ashes series on English soil in 22 years after losing the 5th and final test at the Oval by 49 runs. The result means the series finishes in a 2-all draw. To soccer, the Matildas have erased fears of a group stage exit at the World Cup with an emphatic 4-0 thrashing of Olympic champions Canada. Winger Hayley Raso scored a first-half double before Mary Fowler and then Steph Catley put the result beyond doubt in the second 45.
But that will do it. Victory confirmed for the Matildas. They made their fans sweat throughout the group stage, but they are safely through to the last 16.
Yeah, that call on Optus Sport. Let's go to football, and Port Adelaide's Aaliyah has now been placed in the concussion protocols, meaning he'll miss Saturday night's match against Geelong along with Lockie Jones. Meantime, Crows youngster Luke Nankervis has praised the work of teammate Mark Keane with the club short on defenders.
He's been doing that in sample all year, and for him to come into AFL and do exactly what we wanted him to do was so good, and to have him back there, it's a big help.
And the Crows will now have to replace Jordan Butts, who's been ruled out for the season with a foot injury. Australian Olympian Peter Bowl has been cleared of doping, and Barclay has more.
The middle distance champion runner tested positive to synthetic EPO in January, but Peter Bowl has always maintained the sample was a false positive. Now he's been informed by Sport Integrity Australia that was indeed the case. The World Anti-Doping Agency says it will assess the current review process for positive results. The national 800-metre record holder can now turn his attention to the World Athletics Championships.
And that is the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Louva House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Few collisions to look out for this morning, including one at Croydon Park, South Road near Penn Street. Another one at Noarlunga Main South Road just before the Southern Expressway entry with delays there. And a multi-car smash at Ranella. Few residual delays there. That's on the Southern Expressway inbound just near Sheriff's Road. Busy South Road at Mile End with a Camera Smart Road at Mudbury. Simmons Homes, stunning home designs with a lifetime structural guarantee. Discover stunning Simmons display homes all around Adelaide today. Visit simmons.com.au for locations. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Pack away the bikinis and boardies, pull out the woolies and get your brakes checked at Automasters.
A possible morning shower with a high of 16. Sunny tomorrow up to 20. Showers developing on Thursday 23 and easing on Friday down to 14. At the moment 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Growing up with Mum was an adventure. She was so strong and independent. Then we noticed she was struggling to manage in her large family home, but wasn't quite ready for aged care. Glen Woodley Estate was perfect. Mum has the support she needs and the independence she loves. Her meals, cleaning and linen are taken care of, and she has friends to socialise with in the clubhouse.
Glenwoodley Estate Serviced Apartments in Myrtlebank are selling now. Visit southerncrosscare.com.au.
Hey, excuse me, you're Adam, right?
Yeah, I'm Adam.
The Adam who bought his hearing aids at Specsavers?
Actually, yeah.
The Adam who got quoted thousands more elsewhere, then got top-of-the-range hearing aids at Specsavers?
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, this is Adam.
Get your hearing aids at Specsavers and you'll never hear the end of it. We've got everyday low prices on the latest tech hearing aids. Book your free 15-minute hearing check with your local audiology professional at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 9, the Challenge Bowl came into the studio about 40 minutes ago, and with its wisdom, suggested that if you could raise $1,000 by 9 o'clock. David Penberthy would be having to do a TV news reading screen test. Channel 7 have kindly donated a studio to the Undie Drive to facilitate the screen test. Lots of people donating at fundraising.com.au, and given our listeners are so generous and kind, not only in a financial sense, but also in a numerical sense, what they're trying to do is make the maths easier, because we had someone donate $29 earlier.
Someone donated 71.
Well, Kaz in Brompton donated 31, saying happy to make the mathematical equation easier for Panda Man Will. Thank you, Kaz. The problem is a lot of other people had the same idea. Like the great people at Southern Steel Supplies.
We love them.
Who said for the Pembo newsread, they've donated $271. So I'm not going to bother trying to do the maths.
Now it's like something out of 6 out of 10 cats does countdown.
Yvonne Nagel has donated $50 as well. We're inching closer. We've got about 20 minutes left. We need $500 in that range. I'm not going to calculate it.
No.
To get
$500 or thereabouts.
Or thereabouts to get David to do a TV screen test.
Normally I'd complain
Channel 7.
about being humiliated like this, but given that we are approaching the 2-hour, 40-minute mark of Will sitting here dressed as a panda, I don't think I'm in any position to arc up. You've been.
I'm sweating. I'm
heroic, Will.
I've got weird hairs everywhere. I've got a rash from the Velcro on the chin,
and all the bamboo you've been eating.
And all the bamboo as well. It's not as delicious
that
as they
stuff
make
do
out.
you good though. Better than Metamucil.
If you want to donate, 5AA.com.au, raising as much money as we possibly can for Catherine House and Hutt Street Center, who we stress are stretched at the moment, taking clients from walks of life they never imagined. They are dealing with and helping more people than ever before, because the cost of living crunch means more people than ever before are living close to the bone. These charities are so needed. Your donations are so important, so get them coming in. 8223 is our number, but 5AA.com.au is the website to go to. Speaking of call-outs for help, there's a South Australian mother of two called by the name of Amira Solomon, who is awaiting open-heart surgery. Now, in open-heart surgery, you need a lot of blood. Unfortunately for Amira Solomon, she has a very rare type of blood that is tough to come by. So there's a national and global call-out for people to donate. Dr. Amanda Rishberth is the chair of the National Blood Authority and joins us on 5AA Breakfast now. Dr. Rishberth, good morning to you. Could you just take us through the nature of the blood type required and how rare it is?
Oh, good morning, David and Will, and good morning to all the listeners. I called in because I just wanted to say thank you to the listeners and thank you to everyone who's donated and who generally donates as well for many people who need blood and plasma. And I donated the other day, my blood type A, and I've no idea whether I've got some rarities, but I certainly donated the other day. So it was really a shout-out to say thanks to the listeners. I think it's really important for people to think about, others at these times. It's such an easy thing to do to donate blood. I was one of those people back in the day in England in the 80s who couldn't donate for many years until the rules sort of changed recently, and so now I can donate again. So it was more the shout-out to everyone to say thank you so much. The National Blood Authority, we work with Lifeblood, of course, and we're an agency of the federal government and all the jurisdictions around Australia, helping to provide a safe, affordable blood supply for everyone. And so I really wanted to say thank you, Will and Dave, and I wish Amira well, of course, and there'll be, wise, wonderful medical and allied health people helping her through.
From what I understand, that the issue with Ms. Solomon is it's not so much the specific blood type, but her blood is actually a very rare combination of several different blood types, which I guess is the foundation for the call that you're making for as many people as possible to get involved, because she's going to need at least 20 bags of blood to go through this procedure.
Yeah, that's right, David. So back in the day, I used to lead an intensive care unit. We had lots of open heart surgery patients, so certainly understand the complexity around those things and the need for potential blood packs as they go through that surgery. I'm not across the real specifics of her case because those things are under some degree of privacy. But I really want to wish her well and her family, of course, and all the people that work in that system. So it's not just the blood; it's all the people that will care for her and as she goes through her surgery. So that was the shout out, and thank you to everyone. And I'd like to donate $46.33, Dave, towards the other cause this morning. I'll get online and
Excellent.
Get off the call, and I'll pop that donation through.
Excellent work. Thank you, Dr. Rushworth. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
$46.33.
See, now they're mathematically challenged. We didn't get this gig because we're good at maths. Dr. Rushworth is the chair of the National Blood Authority. So it sounds like we're doing well broadly on the blood front.
Well, there's some blood has been sourced for Ms. Solomon from the UK.
Yes,
it's being flown over. Apparently, there's a compatible donor they found in Victoria, but they're still only about halfway towards getting the amount that they're going to need for the operation to go ahead.
We spoke earlier with the head of the Royal Show about the fact show tickets are going on sale today. Last year, they flirted with a sellout on a couple of days where if you didn't get your tickets early, that was in real danger. You wouldn't have been able to get in. 75,000 is what they say is around the mark, but of course people come at different times, and so it's as we got told earlier, it's not like the footy. There's not a limited number of seats, but if everyone surges at the same time, there could be troubles. They got up to 80,000 at one point for one day last year. That gives you some sense. So they want you to buy tickets today. Now, one of the feature attractions at the Royal Show is the wood chopping. We had a story going back a couple of weeks that the type of wood they use in the wood chopping, they were having struggle getting access to, and there were real question marks about whether it was in fact going to be able to go ahead in South Australia. They'd already had some troubles in Victoria. Graham Hyde's the Deputy Chair of the Wood Chopping Committee and joins us now on 5AA Breakfast. Graham, is there going to be wood chopping at the show this year?
Yes, I'm really pleased to be able to say that we have timber for the show and the wood chopping will go ahead.
Timber. So, it was some sort of environmental ban on the collection of the timber that was being used, was it not, Graham?
Well, we've always, for many years, I should say, not always, got our timber from Victoria, from the mountain ash timber and woolly buck, and unfortunately, Victoria has shut down their forests, hardwood forests, and that timber is no longer available.
So what are you using instead?
We have been able to get from the southeast of South Australia, one of the sawmills down in the southeast, 141, has made available some reject timber of theirs, which is radiata pine. So for the first time, we'll be cutting radiata pine.
Does it cut differently because I presume your background is obviously wood chopping. Do you know the difference as a wood chopper?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, because the timbers come late, the axemen won't be able to get axes specially made for pine. They have a different bevel on them, a different shape. Axes can take up to 12 months to get at the moment. So
really?
They'll be coming for next year's show.
Oh, wow. So they'll just have to make do with their existing axes for this one?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. A few of the axemen would have cut in New Zealand, and they cut pine over there, so they'll have the correct axes, but most won't.
Yeah, right. Wow. Well, it's good that it's good that it's going ahead, because I've got to say, watching the wood chopping for a lot of people is their number one go-to activity at the show. It's such a beloved part of the Royal Show here in Adelaide.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Everyone loves the woodcutting. I think most people would stop there for a breather if they've got children. It gives them a chance to sit down and the kids can watch an event that captures their imagination. But also everyone just going through, because it's unique to a show, that's pretty much the only place you get to see it. Everyone likes to drop through and be reminded of something that's so traditional to the Australian way.
Good celebration of the Dunlop volley as well.
Absolutely. Very much so.
Good stuff, mate. I look forward to getting along. Graham Hyde there, the head honcho, deputy chair rather, of the Royal Show.
He's right about the history of it.
Committee.
It's been in the Royal Show since 1905, so 118 years of wood chopping.
What about the Dunlop volleys? You want to get
I think
they've
been around for 118 years as well.
They're excellent shoes. The grip, because they're so flexible. We used to wear them for rock climbing. They're great shoes. Brilliant shoes. Painters, a lot of painters wear Dunlop volleys as well.
Do they?
Yeah. Tell us about your love of Dunlop volleys.
You a sneakerhead, are you?
I do like Dunlop volleys. I used to wear them all the time playing school tennis. Might have mentioned once, played against Mark.
He still talks about it.
Yeah,
we've got some more.
And so he should, given he caned me.
Some lovely donations coming through. One from Pensioner in Salisbury East of $25. Thank you, Pensioner. Says good on you guys. Pat Sandlin's donated 50. We've got an anonymous 100. Deb's donated 100. Nick has donated 50. He says worthy cause. Well done, guys. Lots of terrific donations through today at 5AA-drive.com.au. Lucy, what's the update?
Can I get one of those hip hip hooray cheer sound effect things, Will?
I've got one ready to go.
Go ahead.
Oh, yes!
We're off to Channel 7 either today or tomorrow, whichever one we've got to work in your schedule, but it's going to happen. We will be there to film it. We will play it on the show.
I might do it tomorrow, because I think I need a full 24 hours to get myself looking vaguely presentable.
Right. As long as it's done before Will's Wednesday night bulletin. There we go. There's your caveat. Sometime between now and tomorrow.
Might become the Wednesday night bulletin. They might just put it on instead.
You're off to Channel 7.
Rosanna Mangiarelli's surprised when she sees this.
I think she'd be delighted.
Sagger, you know what, sitting next to her.
I think she'd be. I think she's a big fan of yours.
undiedrive.com.au. I mean, the challenges aren't over for the week yet. I mean, Will's going to head down the mall in 10 minutes' time. So if you're in Rundle Mall, you'll see Will very shortly. If you're watching our socials tomorrow night, you'll see David at Channel 7. But the challenges aren't over yet.
Okay.
There's more
I need
come.
to think of some of the good TV cliches as well, and work also on my sort of Mike Moore style intonations after a disturbing stories like
Yeah, we need to get you a serious story and some light stories.
Next up,
for your light and shade,
a story no parent can afford to miss.
Now you're talking.
Things like that.
That's you've nailed that. I'd watch it. I don't even know what the story is.
I remember once watching Sandra Sully when she said, "After the break, new hope for the dead, the deaf." One of the best clangs I've ever heard. Hopefully nothing like that happens to me.
If it does, we'll have it all captured on film. That's the beauty part. Let's check traffic and come back with Behind Closed Doors in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. At Kent Town, got a breakdown slowing a few things up this morning. Fullerton Road just near the parade. Croydon Park, a smash on South Road near Pym Street, causing pretty solid delays inbound. And no longer residual delays from nearly collision on Main South Road just before the Southern Expressway entry. Busy right now, Anzac Highway and Marion Road, with cameras Lyons Road, Durnan Court and North East Road at Modbury. Did you know at UltraTune you can get a manufacturer's handbook service for your car and not void your new car's statutory warranty? Call or search UltraTune today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, our road toll sits at 71 for the year, the same number killed in 7 months as for the whole of 2022. We'll look at that story, and with Paul McCartney coming to Adelaide in October, we'll look back on your memories of the Beatles, Wings and George Harrison coming here for the Grand Prix, especially if you've met any of the Fab Four over the last 60 years. We need to hear from you. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Hey, you in the car? If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
I was just doing my job.
I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
To celebrate 70 years in solar, Solarheart is giving you the chance to win a Tesla Model 3 electric vehicle worth up to $70,000. Simply buy a Solarheart solar power system, Solarheart water heater, heat pump or home battery and enter for your chance to win. Get smart. Get Solarheart. Terms and conditions apply. Visit solarheart.com.au for details. Open to AU residents 18+. Ends 30th of September 2023. SA permit T23/871.
Is there a God? What is the meaning of life? Do I actually need unlimited data to watch a few cat videos on my commute? Cute.
Question everything, especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
Thanks to Duncan Bashir Hannon, providing legal services for all South Australians. They're with you, for you. dbh.com.au.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 to 9. We'll go behind closed doors in just a moment. Fuel Watch first. Download the free RA app to find the cheapest fuel in an instant. The cheap spots we've been able to locate. The Liberty Bridge Road Paraka, $1.74.5. The BP on the run Seacombe Road Seaview Downs, $1.77.9. The BP on the run Main Street Belair, $1.76.9. The cheapest diesel, the BP Victoria Road Largs Bay, $1.78.9. Text coming through on the Duttons text lines. A lot of animal lovers out there understand Lucy's tears for the Green Mile.
A lot of people weeping in solidarity with Lucy after her review of the adaptation of the Stephen King book. Pistol says that maybe Lucy's next few movies should be mouse-themed. Maybe throw in Stuart Little, Mousetrap and Ratatouille into the bowl. Probably also add Babe to it as well, because it's got the mice play the role of a sort of Greek chorus in that film. Love that film. Graham from Morphettvale says, if Lucy's going to cry over animals in movies, my God, don't ever let her watch Warhorse. She'll bawl through the whole movie. And Kay in Golden Grove said, I'm with Lucy. That's when I cried in the Green Mile too. Another one here, Lucy crying about the mouse in the Green Mile is making me cry into my cornflakes. There you go.
Well done to Leslie again. Movies are picked a film that Lucy absolutely adores now. So thank you to Leslie. Thank you to everyone who's donating over the course of the morning as well. We got to the $1,000 for this hour required to get David to do a TV screen test at Channel 7. The money continues to flow in. A $50 and $200 anonymous donation came in just recently.
This is excellent. The level of donations, given that we are in the midst of a cost of living squeeze, we're really impressed by the amount of people who are chipping in. And as we've said, folks, it doesn't need to be big money. You know, if you've got a spare $10, if you think you can spare $10, just go to the Undie Drive website and chip in.
How much did Dr. Amanda Rishbeth say she was going to put in?
She said she was going to put in $46.33.
Well, she put in $1,246.
No way.
So, just to give you a bit of a behind the curtains,
maybe it was a typo.
Dr. Amanda Rishbeth came on to talk about saying thank you for blood donation. Essentially, she rang 5AA Breakfast to say, can I come on and we talk about it? Heard us talking about the Undie Drive, and she's made a huge donation.
Do you reckon she meant to do it? She said on air $46.33. Well, maybe she just had a fit of pique and thought, I'm going for it. I'm having a lash.
Stuff it.
Well, good on it, regardless of what it was.
Maybe the zero was in the wrong spot. Look, it doesn't matter.
If everybody comes on for an interview is going to make a donation, we'll be set.
We can do that too. All right, let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, g'day, Will. How you going?
Well, really well, David. And the Logies were on the weekend again, and the general consensus is that Sam Pang did a great job as host.
Yeah, he did. How is it decided now? Because it used to be totally driven by the little magazine that everybody put on the top of the old Rankaruna TV, the TV Guide.
Well, it still is decided partially by that.
So what, you've got to get the TV Guide and vote through that?
Well, you can do it online now as well.
But who buys the TV Guide nowadays?
I'm not sure.
But can you still buy the TV Guide?
Well, that is a great question.
I don't think you can. I don't think it even exists anymore.
No.
And I'm speaking as a former editor of the Sunday Mail, which had TV Guide in it.
Yes, but that was called TV Plus.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I'm not sure.
Well, I'd like to know how you can have an award night based on voting in the TV Guide that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I think the bigger question, David, is why we are both referring to it as TV Guide when there are yet undiscovered tribes deep in the Amazon who know that it's the TV Week Logie Awards, not TV Guide, which is totally different and indeed is an American publication.
Well, to be fair, there was a South Australian TV Guide, and I am speaking now as a former editor of the Sunday Mail.
Yeah, but I think the South Australian TV Guide only lasted 4 months and was never associated with the Logies.
All right, so really all this means that you and I take about as much of an interest in the Logies as the rest of Australia.
Pretty much, I'd say, yeah.
And when you consider that the bloke the Logies are named after...
John Logie Baird, yep.
Yeah, considering that he had almost bugger all to do with inventing television, I reckon the Logie Awards might be a bit of a farce.
You think?
I think we stood corrected. We might be busted on that one. Not big Logies guys.
No. Well, given the coverage it's getting, most people are saying the whole thing should be sort of put down as an entity.
Matthew Pantelis is coming up. Thank you so much for your donations over the course of the day.
Being on the cusp of a career in television...
You might have to change your tune, my friend.
Yeah, imagine getting a gold Logie.
I cannot wait to have you in the studio.
Because, it looks like eventually everyone in Australian television does get one.
Yeah, well, yours is coming.
You're only years away.
Matt Pantelis coming up after 9 o'clock. Remember, you can donate at any point of the day by going to 5AAUndiedrive.com.au. Back with more silliness, but I'll be much cooler tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock.
Well done, Panda man.
Thank you, sir.
We love our vast, rugged country, but out here is no place to break down. For 50 years, the team at Terrain Tamer have been engineering, testing and manufacturing off-road four-wheel drive parts.